Chickadees, happy Friday. We made it through the week. Give yourself a pat on the back. I don't know about y'all, but this felt like a really long week to me. Goodness. I think back to Monday and I'm like, was that like 2 months ago? Thank you so much for joining me on this Friday evening. We've got a lot to cover in this trial. Couple updates that I do want to give after I thank everyone for joining me. Replay crew, love it. Thank you so much for joining. And also, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all the tubes of you things that you need to do. And in addition to that, shoot me a comment. For the most part, as long as I see it, I will always answer any comments that anyone puts on any of my live streams. So I'm counting on all of you to tell me if volume needs to change. I'm going to be replaying this trial at 1.5 speed because we're in Tennessee, y'all. They talk slow. So hello, Debbie. Thank you so much for joining us. And Ava is back with us. Melissa, it has been quite a week. KS Granny and Kelly, and all my usual suspects are here to enjoy a Friday evening with me. My intent is to go for 3 hours. We'll get whatever we can done. Or I have kind of like a rough draft schedule, but we'll see what we can get done. And then I'll be back live at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So we can get right back to it again. What we are watching, in case you don't know and you're new to the party here, we're watching the 2017 trial, Tennessee versus Zachary Adams. This is the case of the abduction, grape, and red rum of Holly Bobo in Tennessee. This particular case, she went missing in 2014, and her remains were not found until, I believe, about a year later. We're going to find out everything we need to know about this case. There's some spiciness, but I don't want to delay any longer, so let's get to it. Before I go too much further, this particular prosecuting attorney almost whispers his opening statements. And that is where we're starting, is with the opening statements. They did have some jury instructions. I'm skipping that. We want to know what the jury instructions are at the end. So if we play them at all, but I just want to forewarn you, you're going to want to pay attention to closed captions because this guy whispers.
You raped her. You killed her. You discarded her. You covered her up. You bragged about it. And he almost got away with it. You took her. You raped her. You killed her. You discarded her. You covered it up. You bragged about it. And he almost got away with it. He bragged about it. Sat down. He bragged about it. I couldn't have picked a prettier fish. It was fun. The world may never know what happened to Holly Bobo. I couldn't have picked a prettier fish. It was fun. The world may never know.
Oh, I am so sorry, everyone. I'm trying to fix my closed captions because y'all, they're in Spanish. So give me a minute here because I have completely colossally messed this up. And I was trying to do it in like the tiniest little viewing that I could. So let's see if I can change this in the settings so that it is no longer in Spanish. I am not entirely sure how that even happened. Let me try to see if we're better now. I am so sorry. You're over.
He took her. He raped her. He killed her. He discarded her. He covered her up. He bragged about it. And he almost got away with it. He took her. He raped her. He killed her. He discarded her. He covered it up. He bragged about it. And he almost got away with it. He bragged about it. Zach Adams. He bragged about it. I couldn't have picked a prettier bitch. It was fun. The world may never know what happened to Holly Bobo. I couldn't have picked a prettier bitch. It was fun. The world may never know what happened to Holly Bobo. Holly Bobo, 20 years old, nursing school, working hard and doing good. She had a boyfriend that she loved, Drew Scott. She lived with her mom, Karen, her father, Dana, and her brother, Jorge. Dana wakes up every morning real early to go to work. Karen wakes up early to go teach school. She's a school teacher. She's known in the community as Miss Karen. Clint, 5 years older than Holly, 45 at the time, went to school and had a job. That was the parent. And they lived in a little house that Dana built with his dad, housed on a small street named Swan Johnson, off another smaller street, Michael Town Road, outside of Parsons in Decatur County. It's where Holly and Clint grew up. It's where they were still living. It's where they were supposed to be safe. It was their home. I couldn't have picked a prettier bitch. It was fun. The world may never know what happened to Holly Bobo. Zach Adams, older than Holly, really pretty. Meth and morphine and the dark things that go along with it. Meth and morphine and the dark things that went along with it. That was his life. His friends, Jason Butcher, older than Zach. Zach looked up to him. But just like Zach, meth and morphine and the dark things that went along with it. Shane Austin, same. Meth, morphine, and the dark things that went along with it. And his brother, John Bill Adams, who lived with his grandfather right across the way from the house of Zachary, a younger brother who he treated badly, but the same. Meth, morphine, and the dark things that went along. As dark as this life was, in the immediate days, April 11th, April 12th of 2011, it was even darker for Zach Adams. Meth and morphine had become more and more and more. His girlfriend, he'd been with for some time, trying to leave him, trying to break up, trying to get away. On top of the meth and morphine, now threats and rage. Zach Adams in days right before. I couldn't have picked a prettier bitch. It was fun. The world may never know what happened to Holly Bobo. April 13th, 2011. April 13th, 2011. That's the day on Holly's headset. That's the day that she was taken. She woke up real early that morning, Wednesday morning, middle of the week, real early, to study for a test and to prepare note cards that she had to turn in that morning. It was a test that she wanted to do real early. And she was up real early in her little house in Swan Johnson with her family to study for it and to do her work. Dana up early to go to work. He sees her light on, the door shut, she's studying. He sees her light on, and he talks to her through the door. Her dad didn't see her. The door was shut. He'll never talk to her again. Karen Mona wakes up to get ready for school, where she teaches. She helps Holly pack lunch, fixes a little breakfast. She sees her and she gets to talk. She gets to help her. She'll never see her daughter again. Clint Bobo. This is the one day of the week that he doesn't work, go to school. He's at home in bed asleep. Drew Scott, the boyfriend that she loved. That morning he had to go to work too, but before he was on hunting with his dad and his dad's friends. He was texting her to the shoot back and forth, boyfriend, girlfriend. About 7:42 a.m. 7:42 a.m. The last text. The Holly service. You never hear from her again. Minutes after 7:42 a.m. Wednesday morning, April 13th, 2011, Holly walked out of the back carport door to that little house, her home, where her car was, to leave, to go to school, to turn in these note cards and take a test. And that's when it happened. Neighbor hears a scream and a call for help. Clint wakes up with his voices in the garage. The male voice. He gets the flash of a man in camouflage walking with his sister into the woods. And there she goes forever. Gone. Only trace of her, the only evidence of her or anyone, drops of blood right there at the back carport door leading to her car. Drops her blood right there. Right there at the car. Gone. Just gone. For 3.5 years. About the same amount of time as your son at Colorado College. For 3.5 years. September 7th, 2014. First skull, teeth, some ribs, pop. Found in the woods. Off the interstate. Near cell phone tower. Between two sawmills. Just 4 or 5 miles from Zach Adams' house. Those 3.5 years didn't pass quick. It was eternity on top of eternity. For Karen and for Dana and for Claire, for her family, for the community that volunteered and searched and searched and searched. For the men and women in law enforcement who searched and searched and searched and followed lead after lead after lead after lead. They searched every outhouse, every well, every place they could. Hope against all hope that they could bring her back to Dana and to Karen. That maybe they could bring her back alive. 3.5 years. During the course of chasing lead after lead after lead, they had an idea. Not a bad idea. They had an idea. Let's check the local sex offenders. College youth program. Let's check the local sex offenders. The law enforcement did, and they concentrated on one man, a man by the name of Terry Britt. A bad man, a man with a history, a man who lived in the same general area. And they ripped into his life. They ripped into his life. Talked to all his friends, all his family, his wife, Karen. Searched his house over and over. Followed him, watched him, tapped his telephones, tapped his house.
Oh, poor baby
They
Carrie.
ripped into his life. But every time, absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And so what did the men and women of law enforcement do then? Did they give up? They spent a year and a half riveting this man's life and they got nothing. There was nothing there, nothing to it. Did they give up? Did they just give up? No. They rolled their sleeves up. They put their head down. They retraced their steps. They circled back. Early leads in the investigation. Zach Adams, Jason Autry, Shane Austin. Early leads from the first days of the investigation. Zach Adams, Jason Autry, Shane Austin. Mysterious scratches. Mysterious scratches on Zach and Shane. Suspicious behavior. Alibis that didn't check out at all. At all. A girlfriend. Zach's girlfriend. The one that was trying to leave. Who saw things, who heard things, and who within 2 days this thing happened was certain that the boyfriend Zach Adams had done it. They rolled up their sleeves. They rolled up their sleeves and they went into the dark world of meth and morphine and Zach Adams' bricks. Interview after interview with people that we hope, we wish we'd never meet. And from them, they heard about Zach Adams. They heard about what he did, and they heard about what he said. I'll do you like I did Holly Bobo. I'll lie you in a hole next to her. You have to kill a bitch to get $2 million bond. I did it. I talked to his friends, and they heard his friends. Those are his words. They looked at these alibis, Zach and Jason, and they were lies. After years, after mistakes, after the best research, they had it. They had Zach Adams, his own words, his own lies. They had his friends. They had it. They had him and Jason Autry, and Shane Austin, and John Villanova. They had it. And even then, they didn't stop. Because it wasn't enough to know who did this. It wasn't enough to know who did this. They rolled their sleeves up a little higher. They put their heads down a little bit more. And they said, we're going to get some answers as to what exactly happened to this girl. What they did. So if you want to find out about a bad thing, eventually, sooner or later, you got to go talk to a bad man. And after years of denying, after years of lying, they went to Jason Autry and told him what happened to that girl. He describes phone calls he had with Zach Adams the morning of April 13th, 2011. He describes how he wanted morphine and Zach wanted help. He needed Jason's help with something. This man Zach moved up to. Old. Jason came to him. To Shane's trainer, Shane Austin, Zach's friend. When Jason got there, there's Shane, Zach, and Dylan. Some crazy's happening. Everybody's acting crazy. Shane's yelling. Zach's dark. Very dark. And Jason sees a blanket in the bed of Zach's truck. There's a body. He sees the three of them. Zach, Shane, Dylan, and a body in a blanket in the back of Zach's truck. Within, give or take, an hour and 15 minutes of Holly Bobo being hit. Zach tells Jason, I need your help. I've got to get rid of her. I've got to get rid of her. Jason's a bad man. Jason's who he looks up to. Jason's a leader. At that point, that one forward, that morning, Jason will tell you he was in charge. We're going to take her to the river, to a place that Zach knew very well, under the I-40 bridge, the Tennessee River near Birdsong. And we're going to gut her, so she doesn't float on. And we're going to put her in the river. Jason's a bad guy, man. At that point, that morning, he was in charge. Him and Zach loaded the truck, and we drive to that place. We pick up the blanket from the back of the truck with her in it, getting it out of the truck. They put it on the ground on some rocks. And when they do, she makes a sound. She moves. She's still alive.
A riveting
Grace.
story.
She's still alive. No. Zach walks to the truck. He goes inside, and he comes out with a gun. He walks toward her. She's wrapped up in a blanket. Jason says, "Whoa, whoa, not to stop him, not to stop him. Whoa, I need you to look at me. She nobody's down here. It's a bad man."
Sorry.
He walks fast, probably about 20, 30 yards. Gotta go about 20 or 30 yards so you can look down and see a long gravel road that comes this way, so you know whether or not somebody's coming or not coming. He looks down and sees nothing. He turns around. He starts back. He gets Zach in the eye. Is it time for Grace? No. Zach feels down with the blanket, finds her head, and fires a shot into her head and kills her. Maybe no Grace. Jason and Zach would talk on the way back. Their own words. How did this bitch end up in the back of your truck? Zach would tell them. We took her. They're in shame. We took her. Shot her up with drugs. We raped her. We thought we would kill her. And now Zach happy. So after years of searching, after years of leads and false leads, after years of going into dark places and talking to dark people, not only do they know who, but they know what happened to that girl. Couldn't pick a prettier bitch. It was fun. And I hope they never know what happened to Holly Bobo. You can understand that taunt. You can understand it. The world will never know what happened to Holly Bobo. Because he had years. He had years to destroy evidence, to scatter evidence, to get rid of crime scenes, to build lies on lies. He had a 1.5 to 2 year head start. You can understand why he was so confident that he'd never get caught. No DNA, didn't leave fingerprints behind. Crime scenes long gone. For years, the police were looking at the wrong person. You can understand what he was saying. He thought he had gotten away with it. But we didn't get wrong. He took her. He raped her. He killed her. He discarded her. He covered it up. He bragged about it. And he almost got away with it. But he didn't. Because we're here now. Crime scene's long gone. No DNA. No fingerprints. A body that decomposed in the woods for years. Oh yeah. And a gun too. A gun. You see, when investigators talk to a bad man like Jason Autry, he doesn't stop there. They check in to the things he says. They check what he's saying against facts and witnesses. And over, the facts will cooperate. What he said happened. And he told him something else too. He told him about the gun that was used to kill him. He told him who they sold it to. And the investigators punched people down. And 6 over 6 years after this thing happened. And investigators literally dug and dug and dug by a little stream, over the creek, by a little road in Holiday, Tennessee, 2 or 3 miles from Zach Adams' house. We found a buried gun, and had been there for years and years, that Zach Adams had used to kill Holly Bobo. Yeah, crime scene's been destroyed. Yeah, he had years to lie. Yeah, he scattered evidence, he destroyed evidence, but we're here now. We're here now. And this week, for these weeks, we're serious men, we're serious women, to do serious things. We can't undo, we can't stop what happened to the girl, what happened to her. But here this week, we can do what's serious, what is hard, and what is right.
Okay. How we feeling so far? It's interesting to watch this with the vision of what we know that we have seen in testimony in the post-conviction relief hearings, because we happen to know that the gun they're speaking of does not appear to be the right caliber to have been able to put the bullet in the skull that was retrieved and identified as Holly Bobo's. So
So members of
sorry. I think that's very interesting that that's what he's kind of zoomed in on, because we know there's a lot of stuff that we know now looking back that they sold. That's why I think it's really important and good for us, since we have seen some of these post-conviction relief hearings, to see what they did in 2017. So now we're going to move on to the defense opening statement. I'm going to back us up here just a touch, make sure I get all of this. Is also the War of the Jennifers. We haven't gotten to the other Jennifer, you know, the hateful Jennifer. This is I was taking a lot of anti-anxiety medication and I was beat down Jennifer, if everybody remembers. So here we go.
So members of the jury, Zachary Wright Adams is innocent of the 8 charges that he is facing here today. And it's worth saying it one more time, Zachary Wright Adams is innocent of all these charges. So how is it that we got here today? As a matter of fact, not only did Zachary Wright Adams, he did not murder Holly Lynn Bobo, he did not kidnap Holly Lynn Bobo, he did not abduct Holly Lynn Bobo, he did not rape Holly. He did not, as a matter of fact, know Holly Bobo and had never even laid eyes on her. The district attorney has already spoken about the fact that Holly Bobo was a good person. And this is a case that certainly captured everybody's attention, because from all appearances, Holly Bobo was an all-American girl. She was a good student. She was a good daughter. She had a boyfriend that she loved. She was working very hard to be a nurse. She was a quiet, shy girl. She was kind to others. She loved her family, her country, and the Lord. And she was a good person. And we all like to think that if we're good people and we don't put ourselves in a bad situation, then nothing bad will happen to ourselves or our families. And this happens to be one of those tragedies in which somebody who was a good person, something bad happened to that person. However, Zach Adams is not the person who's guilty of this crime. And in the beginning, and perhaps also what has really captured everybody's attention about this crime, is the fact that it was caught so early. And you'll hear testimony, the proof is going to come in, but you'll hear testimony that basically the police were called within minutes of Holly's brother and the neighbor having heard the neighbor heard a scream. Holly's brother was outside or looking around. He had looked through the window, had seen something happening, and basically the police are called within minutes. The police are at the house within probably about 15 minutes. perhaps 20 minutes of the scream first being heard and Holly's last text that she sent out. And from that point on, however, they just were not able, even though the police reacted so quickly, through a series of events, they were not able to find her that morning. And so after that very first initial few hours when they were looking for her, what happened is law enforcement and the TBI came in very quickly on this. They basically have interviewed every person in Decatur County, many of these people twice, but they have gone through, it's almost just like trying to drink from a fire hydrant, all the information they got. They opened up a TBI hotline and people called in. I mean, they had thousands and thousands of telephone calls from across the country, from international calls where people were calling in with tips, with a possible sightings here. They had numerous psychics that called in, people who had dreams about where she was, people who had their own theories about where she was, and law enforcement was working very, very hard to try to find Holly, one, hoping against hope that they could return her to the family, but they're also trying to solve the mystery of what has happened to Holly that morning, the morning of April the 13th, 2011. And so from there, they began to interview everybody. For years, they've worked to solve the crime, and I think that the government touched on the fact that they had interviewed and talked to and investigated this person, Terry Britt, but that is not where the case started. So first of all, there's the next door neighbor, James Barnes, who heard a scream that morning. He heard somebody screaming from the direction of the Bobo house. And James Barnes, and he lived on the next door neighbor's property with his mother, Kathy Wise. And the first that the state really looked into was James Barnes. They investigated him. They searched his whole house. They spent months and months combing over him and making the Barnes family a big suspect in their investigation. They got their phone records. They just investigated them completely. And also, in the days before Holly had disappeared, James Barnes had a friend over. His name was Keith Clark. Keith Clark had been in the house. The state investigated Keith Clark with a vigorous fury. They got his phone records. They checked into everything about him. Then the next person that the state turned an eye against was John Dodd. John Dodd was a grandson of some people that lived down the road from where Holly lived. Somebody that morning said that they had spotted him in this white pickup truck right there in the area, and he had a four-wheeler also in the area, and there was some talk that maybe the person that took Holly had gone through the woods on a four-wheeler with her, and so they turned all their investigative powers on James Dodd, and they absolutely tore his life up. It was hard on him because he suddenly became the suspect that everybody was looking at as the one who had taken Holly Bobo. And in a community that small, and everybody's so very, very interested in what had happened to Holly, and people were genuinely very concerned about what had happened to Holly, that then rumors and just what was going on just spread like wildfire. So as soon as one person is rumored to have been involved, it was terrible. But the law enforcement investigations did all kinds of affidavits to get things on John Dodd. They searched his computers, they searched his telephone, they looked at his Facebook page, they were looking at his car, they investigated all of his property. As a matter of fact, they even had dogs that hid on his property and had allegedly traced Holly Bobo's scent to his driveway or his grandparents' driveway. So he was thoroughly investigated at some point. Then there was another person who was investigated thoroughly, Blake Barnett, and they turned all their attention to Blake Barnett. And at one point, we're putting a lot of energy into him. Next, they looked at Terry and Janet Britt. The state of Tennessee looked at Terry and Janet Britt. They really investigated them. They got subpoenas. They searched their house. They did wiretaps on them. They looked at them very closely. However, through the wiretaps and through the subpoenas, and they even put listening devices in their house, they lived in a trailer. They had a metal roof. They were never able to get any type of, quote, confession from them. What they were wanting was some type of confession, some type of discussion between the couple where they were acknowledging perhaps that they had done this. They weren't able to get that, even though they did get a lot of circumstantial evidence in that case. Then law enforcement turned to Jerry Evans. Jerry Evans was a man that lived down the road near Five Forks, just down the road from Holly's house. And they turned to this man, Jerry Evans. They did thorough search on his house. They did all kinds of affidavits on him to get all kinds of information. They looked at him. There's another man who may or may not come to testify in this case, named Michael Alexander. At one point, they were very suspicious that Michael Alexander was involved in it. There's another man that they investigated, Jason Nichols. And the morning that Holly disappeared, one of the case has been an absolute fire hydrant of information coming in. But one of the things they did is they got all the cell phone records from all the cell phone towers where Holly Bobo's cell phone pinged that morning. They got all the records of everybody else's phone who pinged at the same time her phone did. Jason Nichols came up as a person who was a registered sex offender. His phone pinged that morning, and his wife's phone also pinged that morning on two different towers where Holly's phone was. They investigated Jason Nichols. As a matter of fact, he had a potential possible kidnapping of another woman 1 week to the day earlier. And he also had he had accosted several women at the Hickory Mall, the Old Hickory Mall in Jackson, Tennessee. So they turned their focus on Jason Nichols at some point. And then, of course, one of the more tragic things that the state did is they turned their investigation on Clint Bobo. At some point, the Bobos retained an attorney to represent Clint because the state of Tennessee was absolutely determined to show that Clint Bobo was somehow involved in this case. And they got all kinds of records on the Bobo. They got phone records. They oftentimes treated the Bobo family as though they were involved, limiting any kind of information that they shared with the Bobo family because they were treating them as though they were suspects in this case. And so all of that came up, and yet at the end of the Clint Bobo they really focused on at the end of 2012, all this is transpired, and now as they're cutting into 2013 and they're in the fall of 2013 headed into 2014. It's been 2.5, almost 3 years, and they still do not have a suspect that they can firmly go after. They don't have anybody that they've narrowed it down at this point as to who it is that has committed this crime. And at this point, and as it's been said many times by the TBI, this was the most expensive and most exhaustive investigation in the history of the state of Tennessee. And yet, when they came to 2013,
Sure was.
they had nothing. They had a great big goose egg. They paid all this money, and they had absolutely nothing to show for it. And the citizens of Decatur County, the family of Holly Bobo, and the public at large all wanted answers to how such a crime could happen, how the police could be involved right away, and still, after all the resources and all the information they had, they could have absolutely nobody charged by that point. And it's also important to keep in mind that in the beginning of 2014 is an election year. Who's coming up for re-election in 2014? The district attorney. The district attorney who is in office, who's been in office for a while, Hansel McAdams. He is coming up for re-election. Who else is coming up for re-election? The sheriff of Decatur County Sheriff. Because at that time, actually, all the judges, all the district attorneys, and all the law enforcement is all coming up for re-election. So there's some additional pressure at that point. And Matt Stowe has just announced that he will be running against Hansel McAdams for District Attorney General of the 24th Judicial District. So what happens at this point? And the Bobo family had been estranged at some point this time from the TBI. So the Bobos reached out to a person that they knew, a man named Dennis Benjamin, who went to their family church. And he was a retired police officer through Memphis. He was a retired Memphis police officer. So the Bobos reached out to him. And many people had been volunteering to try to help the Bobos also. But this Dennis Benjamin came forward and was wanting to try to help the family. So Mr. Benjamin went around and made some inquiries as to what was going on. And definitely one of the people's names who had come up, several people's names had come up in the investigation, and it was Jason Autry, Zach Adams, Shane Austin. Their names had come up because, as I said, there were lots and lots of people's names who had come up during the investigation. But one of the people, and there's a man named Victor Dinsmore, and one of the things that Victor Dinsmore specifically told, because Victor Dinsmore has a past rape conviction. And so Victor Dinsmore was one of the people that the police had looked at and lived close to where the body was, where they eventually found Holly Bobo's body. But Victor Dinsmore lived over there. Victor Dinsmore lived on Yellow Springs Road, and on the east side of his home and on the west side of his home, they found some of Holly Bobo's personal property thrown out on the road.
Really?
And Victor Dinsmore tells Dennis Benjamin, well, I think that maybe Zach Adams did it. Victor Dinsmore had heard that Zach Adams was trying to use Victor Dinsmore as a alibi for that day, and Victor was disturbed at that point. I think he was erroneously told that Zach Adams had used him as an alibi, but one of the law enforcement had told him no. So at that point, he grew irritated and said, I think that you ought to try to look at Zach Adams. And he says, Zach Adams has a brother. If you want to get anywhere with this case, what you need to do is talk to Zach Adams' brother, because Zach Adams has a brother named Dylan Adams. And I want to be politically correct here. I want to say things, I don't want to be offensive, but Dylan Adams has a low IQ. He has low intelligence. All through elementary school and high school, he was in special education classes. He has low intelligence, and he also has some problems processing information. He's not very smart. And so Victor Dinsmore even says to Dennis Benjamin, it's the brother, it's not very smart. And, he's a slow brother, and if you want to get anywhere with this, you need to go talk to him. So at some point, and the case is complicated. Again, like I said, there's a lot of people involved, a lot of information. But at some point, it turns out that Hansel McAdams, and this is before the election, Hansel McAdams has a woman, an assistant district attorney that works for him. Her name is Beth Hall. And Beth Hall works as a part-time state prosecutor for the district attorney's office. And she works part-time as a federal prosecutor, and she works for the federal United States Attorney's Office, prosecuting federal crimes. So Dylan Adams has been charged in a series of federal drug crimes. Dylan has not been convicted of a felony, and however, he's arrested along with a friend of his. The friend is a felon, and he's arrested in possession of some weapons. And so Dylan is arrested then on some very serious gun charges relating to the fact that his friend has His friend is a felon and is in possession of a weapon, and Dylan may or may not have supplied weapons. I think they're arrested for burglary of the friend's mother's house. They broke into the mother's house and took some guns from her. And so they're arrested on these charges. The prosecutor in this case is Beth Hall, who's also the assistant prosecutor and working on the disappearance of Holly Bobo. So she charges Dylan to the United States Attorney's Office on some federal gun charges. And Dylan is in federal custody in trial on those charges. And the most amazing thing happens. Dylan, who is facing 120 months, and that's federal talk, it's 10-year sentence. But he's facing 120 months. And this is the crimes he is facing are crimes that you cannot get probation for. Probation is not allowed on those crimes. If you are convicted of those crimes, those are going to be sentences to serve in federal prison. And federal prison does not have a parole system. And so the most amazing thing happens. Dylan Adams has a guilty plea. He pleads guilty to these federal charges. He is pleads to lesser charges. They modify the charges. He is released with no jail prison sentence to serve at all. He's released on a supervised release. But one of the conditions of his release is that he must go live with Dennis Benjamin. This is a condition that is agreed to by Beth Hall, the United States Attorney. At the time, Dylan Adams had a federal attorney who he had switched different people within the Federal Defender Services were representing him. But he had an attorney who had agreed to this, and Jeff Jackson, who's one of the prosecutors in this case, Red Booth and Jeff, not prosecutor, sorry, who's the TBI investigators, two of the lead TBI investigators in this case, Jeff Jackson and Brent Booth. Both are very aware of the fact that Dylan Adams is now going to go live with Dennis Benjamin, a friend of the Bobo family who's been investigating the disappearance of Holly. And at this time, they've already had a series of interviews with Dylan Adams. And most of those they've had a series of interrogations, with Dylan Adams. Most of those interrogations have been where Dylan had no attorney present. So they've taken this man who has low IQ. They've had multiple, perhaps even as many as 15 interrogations with the police. They've used the information that Dylan's been giving them, or the information that they've gotten through interrogations, to go ahead and get an indictment started on Zach Adams, and that's in the spring of 2014. They've gotten a basic indictment for homicide. This is before they found Holly's remains. They've gotten an indictment for homicide. Dylan is then released in August of 2014 to go live with Dennis Benjamin, a man that Dylan Adams does not know. He's not related to Dylan Adams. He's not a friend of Dylan Adams. He is released to go live with Dennis Benjamin. So Dylan goes to live with Dennis, and 5 weeks later, after having lived with Dennis Benjamin, Dennis calls the 911 system and announces over the 911 operator, I have somebody at my house who's here wanting to confess to the murder of Holly Bobo, and what happened to Holly Bobo. So they bring Dylan in for additional questioning. This time they videotape it. They videotape what's said. And based on what Dylan says at during this interrogation, they then get their indictment. This is when they get their next indictment, an indictment for the rape, the murder, and the kidnapping of Holly Bobo. And it's after this final session with Dylan Adams that they go ahead and they file their notice of death penalty. So now they have several people charged. They have charged Jason Autry. They go ahead and charge Dylan Adams with rape, murder, and kidnapping of Holly Bobo, and they charge Zach Adams with this. So now they've had their indictments and they file their notice of death penalty. Well, turns out that there's some really big problems with this. One of the really big problems is that when they were getting Dylan Adams to do all this confessing, a lot of what he's confessed to doesn't match the physical evidence. After all, when they first start talking to Dylan Adams, they haven't done any searches on the Zach Adams property. Really, Zach Adams has a house that he inherited when his father died. It's right next door to his grandfather's house, and he owns it in part with his brother Dylan. But Dylan lives with the grandfather because Dylan's really not up to living on his own. So he lives, but they all live at the end of the same driveway and very close to each other. And so after Dylan begins to talk to them first, while he's still in federal jail awaiting federal charges, they go ahead and they get extensive search warrants to search that property. And a lot of it was even broadcast on TV. They had helicopters out there. And you'll hear testimony in this trial about all of the searches they did. They went through Zach Adams' house and they took over 500 items out of that house. They took all the material off of all the mattresses. They took giant chunks of carpeting out of that house. They took whole pieces of furniture, upholstered chairs, leather couches, all kinds of ottomans and pillows and blankets and shelving. They went in to Zach Adams' house, and in the living room, they cut a hole in the floor that's as big as a car. And they took that floor down to the joists. I mean, you can see dirt. So they took the flooring out. They took the vinyl flooring that was under the floor. They took the subflooring out, and they left a hole to the dirt in that house. They took over 500 objects. They brought in backhoes. They searched through Dick Adams' house. They searched some property across the street. They seized I think they seized 3 cars from the Adams family. 4 cars. They seized 4 cars from the Adams family and went through all the cars, through everything. They also got all kinds of telephone records from them. They had terabytes of discovery in this case to provide, just of all the information that they had. Well, turns out the state has a terrible problem in this case. And their terrible problem is that the story that Dylan Adams has told does not match the physical evidence in the case. Because after they finish going through that whole house, there's no DNA that matches Holly to the house. There are no fingerprints that match Holly to the house or to the cars. There's no hair from Holly that matches Holly to Mr. Adams' house. And the cell phone records don't jive with what it is that Dylan Adams says that day. So now the state, by now there's been an election. Hansel McAdams is out. Matt Stowe has been elected. And then at some point, Matt Stowe has declined or recused himself. And the Memphis District Attorney's Office has been brought in. You know, the Memphis District Attorney's Office didn't start this case, but they've been brought in to finish the case. And so at this point then, the state has a problem. And the problem is they have a story from a man with his special education from school. The story doesn't jive with the evidence, and they are going to have real problems going forward. The state needs something. And it is at this point that they then decide they are going to buy and pay for testimony from somebody. They need to have somebody else come in and testify. And what do? They buy. So Jason Autry basically sells his death penalty. He sells his death penalty to the state of Tennessee in the hopes that he will be released in a few months from now, by Christmas. That's his hope. He's going to get released, and he no longer has a death sentence on him because he has now come forward and he has a story. He has a story that's different than Dylan's story, but he has come forward with his own story. Jason Autry has had, presumably, he's had access to the discovery in this case for several years because he doesn't come forward with his story until January 20th, around January 20th of this year. And remember, this case started back in March of 2014, was when Zach Adams was initially indicted. But Jason Autry now comes forward with his story. And his story, like I said, it's different than Dylan's story, but his story does kind of, you might liken it to somebody who's already had a floor plan of a building. Let's say it's an office building. They want to break into the office building. They have the floor plan. They know where all the cameras are. So they're able to kind of walk through the rooms of a building, a museum maybe, if you know where all the detectors are going to be, you kind of walk around it. That's kind of what Jason Autry's confession is, because Jason Autry's confession basically skirts around all the known evidence and the facts that can't be changed. It embraces some of the facts that are accurate and true. And then basically he says, yes, I was there for the killing part, the part that is death penalty eligible. Yes, I happened to be there. I happened to see the killing part. I can't explain to you the mysteries early in the morning of how Holly's kidnapped. I can't really, I wasn't there for that, so I really can't explain the real mystery that everybody wants solved is, who kidnapped her? How did she get taken? Where was she taken right after she was kidnapped? How did that happen? So I can't really solve all those problems for you, but what I can do is I can be your witness for the murder. So that's what he does. He comes in, but there's real problems with his story because, again, the cell phone records in this case, which in a way the state wants you to believe, well, the cell phone records are accurate because the cell phone records show that Jason and Autry and Zach Adams are together that morning for a period of time, and it's over somewhere towards the area of the Tennessee River. So Jason Autry says, yes, I was with him at the Tennessee River. But the problem is the cell phone records, which is in this case is the real evidence, the really strong evidence that they had about where the phones were that morning. The cell phone records do not jive with people having their cell phones and also being the ones that take Holly Bobo from her home, because none of the 4 participants, none of the 4 people that are accused of being involved in this crime, Dylan Adams, Jason Autry, Zach Adams, or Shane Austin, their phones are not in the same areas and travel together with Holly Bobo's phone. Holly Bobo's phone travels around that morning and they know where her phone was. So their phones are not with them. So the state wants you to, as they're going to tell you their evidence, well, yes, you need to rely on the cell phones when it matches what Jason says, that they're at the river that morning. But don't you worry about the cell phones when it shows that Holly's phone is moving independently of the other people's phones. And that's something you're going to want to look very closely at, is the cell phone evidence. But as we go through, you're going to want to listen very, very closely to what Jason Autry has to say, because Jason Autry for years was innocent man walking. And then suddenly, January 20th, he has sold his death penalty sentence, his death sentence to the state for what he hopes is going to be very little additional time to serve in jail. And that's going to be the true evidence in this case. as it shows, all the evidence will show that Zach Adams is not guilty of these 8 charges that he stands facing today.
Okay, guys. Before we head into the very first witness that the state puts up, and I know some of you were talking about her not taking a breath and that. Please remember, we're watching this at 1.5 times. Can y'all imagine how slow these people talk if I took it to normal? Because the way she's talking and the prosecutor was talking, I'm like, I'm good with this pace. Yeah, I can't do that. And don't forget some of the information we also know. She didn't mention anything about him being at the ATM. And that's one of the biggest items in his post-conviction relief hearing, is that was exculpatory evidence. And she didn't even present it. So either she didn't know about it or they didn't give it to her. It wasn't even mentioned. So, all right, we're going to head on. I need to make sure that I have the right day here. Oh, bear with me, and I will get us all hooked up. I just want to make sure that I have the right. Yep, I do.
Okay, let's start. Tell your first witness.
Okay, let me get out of the way. And I will, as long as they speak loud enough, I'll keep the closed captions on so that all of you can hear what the heck they're saying.
State, please.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
called Dana Bobo.
Dana Bobo.
Bear with me. I'm trying to get my life in order.
Over at Elizabeth Crusoe, have you got? I do. Be seated. Would you state your name for the record and spell it for the court reporter?
Dana Bobo. Live at 681 Swan Johnson Road, Darden, Tennessee.
Spell your name for the court reporter, please.
Dana, D-A-N-A-B-O-B-O.
Thank you.
May I proceed, Your
You
Honor?
may.
Mr. Bobo, I'm going to ask that you speak up.
It is a beautiful courtroom.
Say that mic.
Thank you, Jen.
Lean up to it. You may
Oh,
get up.
okay.
And yes, Holly's mama testified.
Because
Oh,
every
wait.
single one of them needs to hear what you have to say,
Okay.
okay? And speak up, because you're soft-spoken.
Okay.
Oh.
You're Dana Bobo, correct? And I'm
Also, this is your first introduction to Bad Jennifer. So this is the back of Bad Jennifer's head. So here we go.
I believe you just told the jury, for the court reporter, where your address was back in. And what is Darden compared to Parsons? 'Cause I heard both things.
It's about 3. We live actually about 3 miles out of Parsons going toward Lexington, and then 3 miles off of 412,
And that's in Decatur County,
Decatur County.
Tennessee.
Yes.
I want to ask you some questions a little bit about yourself and your family. Who are you married to?
Karen Bobo.
Is Karen in the courtroom?
Yes.
And do you have children?
Yes.
And where are your children's names?
Clint Bobo, he's 25, and Holly,
He's 25?
he was 20, I'm sorry,
Oh, so
at the time.
Are you nervous?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, let's go back. It's okay.
Okay.
You've never been in this position.
Right.
You said Clint was 20 at the time.
Clint was 20. Holly was 20 at the time.
So what I want you to do is just take your time and just answer the questions as I ask them, okay? All right. You said you had 2 children.
Yes.
Your son was named,
Clint,
okay, and where did Clint live in 2011?
he lived with us at 681 Swan Johnson Road.
And your daughter?
Holly Bobo.
And how old was Holly?
Holly was 20.
At that time, I want you to sort of describe for the jury what your family life was. For instance, did you have a job?
Yes.
Okay, and where did you work?
I worked for McKinsey Tree Service.
And what did you do for McKinsey Tree Service?
I drove a mowing machine with the tree cutting company, and I drove the mowing machine.
Okay, and did Karen have a job?
Yes.
And what was Karen's job?
She's a patriot for Henderson County Schools.
Okay, what school specifically did she teach at?
She was at Scottsdale Middle School, I guess you call it.
And what grade did she teach? Do you remember?
No, she taught so many different grades, I don't remember at that time.
And what was Clint doing back then?
He's a social worker.
Okay, was he still in school?
I
Taking some classes?
think he was taking some classes and working part-time.
And what about Holly?
Holly was in the nursing school.
Okay, and was she in school full time?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you said that all of you lived together on Swan Johnson Road?
Yes.
681 Swan Johnson Road?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how long have you lived at that house?
Me and Karen have been there since 1982.
Who built the house?
Me and my dad and one more guy. And Karen.
And Karen?
And Karen.
All right. When both of your children came home from the hospital, is that the house they moved into?
Yes.
And Holly was born in 1990?
90.
What was her birthday?
October 12th, 1990.
So is it fair to say for her entire life, that's the only home she'd ever known?
It is.
You said she was in nursing school. Did she go to school about every day?
Yes.
And how did she get to school?
Drove her own car.
And what kind of car did she have?
Got a Mustang.
And in addition to her family, was there somebody in her life that was very, very special to her?
Yes, ma'am.
Who's that?
Drew Scott.
And who was Drew Scott? Who was Drew Scott? A friend or a boyfriend?
That was her boyfriend.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was Drew Scott a familiar face in your house?
Yeah.
In and out about every day?
Most of the time, yes.
All right. I want to draw your attention, please, back to a particular day in April of 2011, okay?
Yep.
April the 13th. Do you remember that day?
Yes, clearly. Pretty clearly.
Is that a day you'll ever forget?
Yes, ma'am.
You will forget it?
No, I'll never forget that
Okay.
day.
It was a Wednesday, wasn't it?
Wednesday morning.
Okay. Did you work that day?
Yes.
At what time did you get up to go to work?
5:30,
You got up at 5:30 to be at work at what time?
6:30.
All right. So when you got up that morning, was Karen already up or did she get up after you?
She got up. I got a little routine where I feed the dogs and stuff like that, and then I'll take my shower. And I met her as I was getting close to being ready to leave the house to go to work. I met her in the house.
When you say you met her in the house, meaning you passed by her?
Yeah, hallway or
Okay.
whatever.
So she had gotten up while you were in the shower?
Yes.
Did you see Holly that morning?
I didn't see her that morning.
Do you know where she was in your house?
I knew what she was because the bathroom is across the room from her door,
Uh-huh.
and I seen her light on as I come out of the shower, getting ready to go to work.
And when you noticed her light under the door, did you say anything to her?
I spoke to her. I asked her if she needed any lunch money or anything that day, or gas money or whatever. She said yes, and I said I'll leave you a $20 bill on the kitchen bar.
After having that, I guess, exchange with Holly, how did you end the conversation?
That pretty much ended the conversation with her that morning.
Did you tell her bye?
Yeah, I told her bye and I love her. It's normal for her house.
So after you told Holly goodbye and I love you, did you go and put the 20 in the kitchen?
Yes.
What you told her?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Is that the first time you've done something like that? Or
No,
is that kind
no,
of
ma'am.
routine?
I do that all. I've done it all the time.
And did you go into work?
Yes.
And when you left your house that morning, which door did you leave?
The front door. I always use the front door of the house.
And where did you park?
I usually park out front. I don't park mine in the garage.
And I'm going to ask you some questions about where people in your family parked in a minute. Are you the only person that's parking in the front at that time, parking your truck?
Yeah.
So everybody else was in the back?
Yeah.
How far from your house to McKenzie Tree Service?
Probably about, I'm going to guess 5 miles.
And when you got to work, did you all stay there at McKenzie Tree Service, or did you and a crew go somewhere else? Because you said you were a mower.
Yeah, when we get there, what we normally do, we'll fuel up our truck for a machine, our pickups, or we're driving to work. We'll fuel them up, and if we have to pick up any parts we need that day to work with, we get them. We're usually there like 30, 40 minutes in the morning. That's why we get there a little early before we leave out.
All right, so did y'all go somewhere?
Yeah.
Where did you go?
We went to, at that time, we was working on the other side of Linden, leaving Linden, probably about 5 miles. I think it's east going toward Louisville, Tennessee,
And did you drive your personal vehicle, or
way before lunch.
had you actually been there very long when something happened, or was it pretty early?
It was early on in the morning.
What happened?
I got a phone call. I can't tell you exactly what time. I got a phone call from Terry Brumley.
Okay, let me ask you this. Terry Brumley?
Yes, Terry Brumley is my,
Terry Brumley, you're in the courtroom too?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got a phone call from somebody named Terry Brumley?
Yeah.
Was that usual or commonplace for Ms. Brumley to call you?
no ma'am.
All right, so what happened?
I got a phone call from her, and I had some guys around me there talking, and she told me that I needed to come back home because Holly had been taken. And I said, what? And it was a guy beside me talking. I had to holler at him and tell him, quiet down, or I forgot what I said, but he quieted down. And she told me it for the second time, and she was crying when she told me the second time. And I understood it the second time what she said. Holly had been taken.
Holly has been taken. 4 words. What sort of an impact did Holly has been taken have on you at that moment?
That was the worst feeling you could possibly feel. That something bad has happened to one of your kids.
So you're out there outside of Linden without your own car. Daniel, what did you do?
I have what you call a point man that he usually drives me to work and back in a single cab company truck. And I hollered at Danny, he's the one that drove me. And I told him that I forgot what the word was. He had to carry me back to to the office quick.
And so did he drive you back to McKenzie Tree Service?
Yes, ma'am.
Were y'all going slow or y'all going fast?
He was going so fast in that Chevrolet truck that the motor was cutting off and back on. We passed everything from work back to Parsons, McKenzie.
Other than those 4 words, Holly has been taken. Did you have any more information?
That's it.
So that whole trip back to McKenzie, you didn't know anything.
Didn't know anything. I wanted to know, but I didn't.
So when you got back to your office, what did you do?
I got in my truck. I think I hollered and told Danny to tell Dennis, my boss at the time, what was going on. And I ran from the company truck and got in mine and went home the back way. That's the quickest way I know to get back to the house.
This time you were alone. And did you see at some point whether somebody was following you or not?
Yes, as soon as I was pulling out from McKenzie Tree Service, my boss, Dennis McKenzie, was in his pickup right on my bumper. You might well say.
You said you took the back way home. You know, we're sitting in Hardin County, people aren't familiar with maybe the roads and
Right.
back there. Are these very populated roads, or are they deserted roads, gravel roads, narrow roads, winding roads?
Some of them, they're definitely winding roads, and some of them narrow roads. One of them is a popular road.
When you got close to your house, did you notice or see something that was going on that you had never seen before?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you explain to the jury what you saw?
Before I even got to the house, I could see the yard where I was coming in. The yard's on the left in the direction I come in. I don't know. I'm gonna guess 50 to 100 people. The road was full of cars. There was cop cars. There was regular cars. The yard was full of people, cops and people. And I had to drive on past there. I was in a terrible big hurry, and I had to drive on past all that and go down on the side of the road where the county used to park their work equipment, and I had to park down there and run back to the house.
Now, is that because the road you live on is one of the narrow
It's
roads?
a very narrow road in
And
front of
it's
our house.
I'm sorry?
In front of our house, it's a very narrow road.
The Swine Johnson Road was so narrow, cars are already lined up, you had to actually pack.
I had to kind of wave in between them to
Remember
get past
that.
them where I could pull over somewhere and park.
So you parked
A
the truck.
narrow road
right?
in front of their
And then
house.
went back to the house.
Yeah, run back to the house.
You said run back to the house. Did you run fast as you
I
could?
run as fast as I can go.
And as you got down the road and hit your driveway, did you have a plan? I mean, did you even know what you were gonna do, supposed to do?
The only thing I was thinking is get back up to the house and see somebody else, family member, somebody to tell me more about what I had heard had happened.
Do you remember who the first person you saw was once you ran up the driveway?
I saw a lot of people, and some of them was friends and neighbors, some of them was cops that I guess I knew. First person I saw that I thought I needed to talk to was my son, Clint.
I'm not gonna ask you what Clint said, but after you talked to Clint, do you remember the very next thing you did?
I talked to Clint and left him, and I'm pretty sure that Terry Bumley was the next person that I seen that I thought would have some information for me,
Okay,
and I talked to her.
all right. And again, I'm not gonna ask you what Ms. Brumley said, but after you talked to Terry Brumley, what's the next thing that you did?
I saw Karen and I talked to her.
Okay, so now you talked to Clint, Ms. Brumley, who called you?
Yep.
And Karen.
Yep.
Then what did you do?
I went from Karen and straight into the front door of the house, and I went inside and I found my pistol, and I come back outside with pistol.
Was the pistol loaded?
Yes, ma'am.
What was it? What were you?
9mm Beretta.
You said there were cops all over the place. Did anybody try to take your gun away from you?
No, ma'am.
You just had it.
Tennessee.
I had it in my hand. I didn't even own a holster for it at the time.
And how long did you wander around your yard with a loaded pistol in your hand that morning?
I don't know how long, but it seemed like hours.
Initially, you said there were 50 to 100 people. Did more people just keep coming and coming and coming?
It seemed like there was more coming.
Do you remember what all or what agencies were represented by law enforcement? You said there were some local ones. Did other agencies come as well?
Yes, several more agencies that morning come.
Did TBI come?
TBI was there.
Did FBI come?
FBI was there. U.S. Marshals was there.
So U.S. Marshals, FBI, TBI.
A SWAT team. I remember them pulling up.
Were there helicopters in the air that morning?
Somebody told us, yes, there was a helicopter come in and circle the house and sit down on the pine levee.
How much property do you own around
You stand out on the
On the pond levee, we have a pond to the right side of our house, and it's down over there. It's an open place for it to sit down.
And I should have already asked, how many acres do you own?
23.
Okay, and that's all right there around that house?
Yeah.
Were people wandering around in your front yard, your backyard, your house, your woods?
It was people wandering, standing, fiddling, just like nobody. No, it was kind of like nobody knew what to do. No, that's the way I took it at the time.
At some point in the middle of the morning, did you lose patience with an FBI agent and tell him what he should go do? What did you say?
I can tell you who it was.
That's all right.
I told him, if y'all think one of us done it, I was talking about me and Clint and Karen that was still out there. I said, if y'all think one of us done it, 10 of y'all stay here with us and the rest of you go do something. And it probably wasn't that nice of words when I said it.
But you wanted somebody to do something.
Yes, ma'am.
You wanted Holly
Yes,
back.
immediately.
I'm on passport, a photograph previously shown to defense counsel.
Okay.
Now, approach with you.
Let's stand, David.
Who is that a picture of?
My daughter, Holly Bobo.
And does that accurately depict what she looked like in 2011?
If I ain't mistaken, this picture was took about 2 weeks or less from the time she was getting out.
Like that, mark that as exhibit 1, Your Honor.
All right, we know that, let's go on. Would you like to explain this to the jury?
I'm going to put it on the overhead with Your Honor.
Okay, okay.
Mr. Rackland's going to help us keep the pictures up so that we can move along.
I just didn't want to pass it individually, this work better. Oh, you need it? Okay. Put your hand down there.
Picture up.
That's Holly Bobo, my daughter.
Your property and I've asked you a number of questions about your house and your property and I want to show you, I'm going to pass forward a group of 12 photographs.
Okay.
What I'm going to ask you to
Thank
do, Mr. Bobo, I'm going to ask you to keep them in that order, look at each one of them and tell me when you're finished.
I'm going to pop through this.
I just
We don't need to watch him.
So I'm going to ask you the same questions about those photographs as a whole, and then we'll talk about them individually. Do you recognize what is portrayed in each of those 12 pictures?
Yes,
Okay. And generally speaking, what are those pictures of?
that's all pictures of our house. 681 Swan Junction Road.
The house that you built?
Yes,
And do those pictures accurately reflect what your house looked like in 2011?
yes.
Your Honor, this time I'd ask that those be marked individually, 2 through 13.
Okay. Let's let me mark first. And then-
Lots of marking. I'm trying to get us through, y'all.
Permission, I'll publish. And if you pass them to Mr. Rackland with the court's permission, I'll publish and ask questions.
Okay.
One time.
Okay. Start with exhibit 2. You can just give it to Mr. Ragland.
Mr. Bobo, I want to ask you now, not only to speak up so they can hear you, but I need you to look over your shoulder in the next few minutes.
Okay.
What is that a picture of?
That's a picture of the front of our house.
From what? And we're looking at what's been marked as exhibit 2. From what angle?
That's from the road out in front of our house, looking back, looks like kind of to the right, to the front of our house.
So looking back just a little bit.
Yes.
Okay, exhibit 3. You can just put them on top of one another. What could you from? What is exhibit 3 showing?
That's a picture of our house, sitting right at the end of the driveway, looking straight at the front of the house.
All right, so a minute ago, and I put the pointer up there. A minute ago, the picture was taken from looking back a little bit, right?
Yes, kind of to your right.
But if you were to sit directly at the base of your driveway on Swan Johnson, that's what
Yeah.
you see.
A straight shot of it from the end of our driveway.
All right, next one, please. What's that?
That's a picture of the front of the house, probably, I'm gonna guess 30 feet from the front of the house, sitting in the driveway.
All right. is your house an L-shaped house?
Yes, ma'am.
To me, right here to the left?
Yeah, that goes back to the left.
Now, a moment ago, the jury saw a straight shot of the driveway. If you come up, look where my pointer is.
Okay.
When you get to the top of your driveway, how do you get to the back of your house? By going left or by going
You'll
right?
have to go around the right.
So does the driveway continue this way, around the side of the house?
Yeah, around the right side of the house, like you're pointing.
Okay, next one, please. If you follow the driveway around the right side of the house, is this what you would see?
Yes, ma'am.
In fact, is this truck parked there? Whose truck is that?
That is Kathy Wise's truck, our neighbor at the time.
Okay, and so if Kathy Wise's truck had followed on around, this is where she would go?
Yes,
And that would be, this is the back of your house?
yes,
Okay, next one. I'm gonna ask you the same questions. There was a pool in the last picture. Is this the driveway as it goes on around behind the pool?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what is this building? And I'm holding it, it looks like a double door,
That's the detached garage from our house.
okay? Whose truck is that?
That's my dump truck at the time.
And the pool?
Yes,
Does this driveway stop right here or can you go on around?
it goes on around the pool to your left and pulls into the carport in the back of the house.
Next picture.
Can you believe all the leading she's doing on
With
this?
respect to the same pool, correct, on your left?
Yep.
Is this the detached garage they just saw?
Yes.
And you said it pulls on into the carport?
Yep.
Is this your carport?
That's a carport.
Okay. When you got home the morning of April the 13th, was this crime scene tape already stretched between your house and the building?
No, ma'am.
Did you take steps for some reason to block off something that you thought was important?
I did.
Tell the jury what you did before law enforcement.
Okay. When I was standing around the front yard, it's sometime after I told some law enforcement to do something. I went back to back. People was wandering around as they pleased, all in the yard. Someone was headed back toward the back of the house. Sometime before that, I'd walked to the back of the house. And I seen Holly's car still sitting in the garage.
Okay, let me stop you here. Was Holly's car parked in this detached garage or was Holly's car parked in the carport?
I'm gonna call it the carport, the one on the back of the house.
Okay, so you had seen Holly's car still there.
Yes.
And so what did you do once you saw people wandering around?
Once I seen Holly's car still in there and something in the garage floor and people wandering around as they pleased, I used to cut timber on the side and I always kept pink tape. I took 2 lawn chairs off the back deck right there,
Okay,
and I put them across the garage. At that time did not have a door on it. It was open garage. I took 2 lawn chairs off the back there and I put them on each side of the garage open and I stretched pink tape across the lawn chairs to keep people from walking in the garage.
okay. And then later on, law enforcement added this crime scene tape that we
Yeah,
can see.
that was added after
Okay.
later that morning, now, I suppose.
Next one, please. And what is it? What is this?
That's the front of the detached garage, left-hand side of it.
Whose truck is this back in?
That is Clint Hunter Bobo's truck, my son.
Okay. And what is this vehicle next to it?
That is one of them. We had 2 4-wheelers at home. That's a Honda 4-wheeler.
You mentioned that the carport didn't have doors on it. Did this detached garage have a door? Is
That detached garage has always had 2 doors on it.
that what I've got the pointer in now?
Yeah.
Does it just roll down?
Yes,
Okay. And do you remember now whether when you got home and you blocked off the carport, was that garage door up or was it down?
down.
Next picture. Okay, this is a different, you mentioned a deck a few
Yeah.
minutes ago.
Yeah.
Tell me where to put the pointer.
Tell you what,
Where's the deck?
the deck is on the right side of the pool, attached to the back of the house.
All right, so this structure right here on the far right is the carport, is that correct?
Yes, that's the front left-hand side of the carport as you pull in.
And there's a deck between this above ground pool and the house?
Yes,
Right? And if you will, looking there in the background, what is the jury looking at?
that's the tree lines of the woods, up at the yard from the woods. And that's the playhouse that me and Karen built for the kids. And to the right of it is the swing set we bought, set up for the kids.
All right, and you mentioned this tree line, is this your property beyond
That, the
playhouse?
tree,
Hang on a second,
Okay.
she tries to write down everything we say.
okay,
So I know you have 20+ acres, is your land back behind the tree line or is your land the other way?
our land is this side of the tree line.
Okay, so is the tree line at the edge of your property?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, next one. So this is a little, I guess, nearer view, is that correct, of the tree line in the woods
Yes,
and where your truck was parked? Okay? Now, Now, we can see the edge of the swing set that was in the pictures. This tree line. If one were to walk back there, is the terrain about the same, sort of hilly with trees filling out in this April? Is that about what it looked like?
Yeah.
Next one, please. And what's this?
That's our back deck on the house.
This is a better picture of the deck. And is there, I know it's dark, and the jury will have these pictures later, can you see from the deck into the carport?
Yes.
And how is that? You said there was no door on the front, but how can you see there on the side?
The carport there is kind of on the right of your picture, above that shrub.
Right?
You can walk straight in off the deck. There's an open, I'm gonna say 4 to 5 foot open, cased out door open, and it has no door on it. So yes, you can see from right there, plumb in the garage.
Okay. One more. What is this picture of?
That's our carport on the back of the house.
Whose car is that?
That is Holly's car with the front lid open.
What kind of car was it?
2006 black Mustang.
You said earlier in your testimony that you parked in the front. You just showed us where Clint was parked. Where did Karen park every day?
She parked the vacant place on the right there where you're pointing.
So Holly parked on the left,
Yep.
Karen parked on the right.
Yes.
And was that a habit that pretty much everybody followed? That's your spot, and that's where you put your car?
That was their spots.
At some point on April the 13th, were you asked to leave your own home?
Yes.
And I'm not asking specifically who asked you, but was it law enforcement that asked you to leave your home?
Yes.
And was it just you they asked to leave, or did they ask you to take Karen and Clint and Terry Bromley and everybody else that was there?
Yes, ma'am.
What was your understanding of why you needed to leave?
Like they told us they were going to process the crime scene.
So where did you go?
We went to my youngest sister's house, next road over.
So as close as you could be to home,
Yeah.
but somewhere else.
My mom lived at town, which was 6 miles away, and my sister lived mile and a half from us, back behind us, next road over.
Is it fair to say that from the time you got that call on April 13th of 2011, your life changed as you knew it?
Yes, ma'am.
How long was it before you went back to work?
It was either 7 or 8 weeks.
And during the 7 or 8 weeks after April the 13th, what did you do every day?
We searched for our daughter 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
What kind of places did you look?
In my mind, I looked at every place that I think she could have possibly been.
Like what?
I went to vacant houses. I went to vacant buildings. I went to houses that was occupied. I went everywhere I thought she might be looking for her.
Did you look in barns?
I looked in everywhere.
Did you look in sheds?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you look in the woods?
Yes.
Did you look in other woods?
Yes.
Did you go to places outside of your immediate area, your road?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know whether your phone number, your private phone number, was it out there broadcast to the public so that people can call you with tips and leads? For Karen's.
Karen's phone was.
And as a result of that, I'm not asking what anybody said, but as a result of that, did your family actually get phone calls from people saying, go look here, go look here?
Yes, ma'am.
When you got those kind of phone calls, what did you do?
We took them down. It might have been 2 or 3 days after we was taking phone calls. I think 2 FBI ladies come and stayed with us after, I'm not sure on the time, maybe a day or 2 into it. Now, we was taking the calls ourselves. We had a house phone at the time. So calls was coming into our house and calls was coming into her cell phone once it got out there for somebody to call it.
And would you turn the calls or the leads over to the FBI, or did you just handle it yourself?
After a day or 2, we started writing it down when we kind of come to our senses what we need to be doing. Every call that we got was turned into the TBI daily, just minutes after we took it.
The day that you said that you went in places that appeared to you to be abandoned, and that you went in places that appeared to you not to be abandoned.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you did that, did you keep that a secret, or did you self-report that to law enforcement?
TBI was at our house a lot of time during the daytime, and they was there every night briefing us. I told everybody everything I'd done that day.
And at some point, did you stop going into houses and sheds and stick to just knocking on doors and looking in the woods?
Yes.
Okay, what made you, I guess, change? That's That's your daughter, that's your baby. What made you go from one way of doing things to another?
We searched for, I guess it was, I don't know how long. We searched forever, it seems like, in the woods, sides of the roads, buildings and stuff. And there come a time, I don't know how long it was later, that we had searched everything, seemed like 3 or 4 times with dog teams and all. And you wouldn't believe how many people was helping us and come from out of state and all. But we searched. And there come a time where we just started going out as far as bunches gathering, and we was talking to people, knocking on doors everywhere and talking to people.
And when did you stop doing that?
I couldn't tell you. It was a long time we searched the woods and
Did anybody ask you to stop doing that?
no ma'am.
Law enforcement never asked you to stop?
They told me to quit searching like I was doing
That's what I'm asking.
numerous times.
All right. And so at some point, did you stop doing that?
Yes.
What day did you give up hope for the very first time?
About 3 years into it, give or take, the TBI come to our house with a whole bunch of them and shut me and Clint and down in the living room and told us that was Holly, that Holly had been found. That was her remains.
And until that moment, were you looking?
Yes,
Still hoping?
until that moment.
I don't have any more questions for you. The defense attorney's mind?
Okay.
Okay.
Your Honor, we have no questions.
All right. Sit down. You may now remain in the courtroom if you'd like to not discuss your testimony with anyone. Okay?
Thank you.
They said that they wanted you got 12, so you have a brief witness.
I do.
Okay.
We do. Drew Scott.
I don't know if you heard, the next witness that's going to be testifying is Drew Scott. Drew Scott was Holly's boyfriend at the time this incident occurred. And yes, Melissa, it is unbelievably devastating. And I understand some of why the family needed to testify, but it's going to get very heartbreaking here before we're done tonight. More so than it already is, I should add. I'm going to try to get us to where. How is the volume working for all of you as well?
Got a short witness, said yes, or about 5:30. Years ago, as an attorney, they had a short witness, said yes, or about 5:30. Thomas, where the testimony about to give is the truth, whole truth, and the Christian has been done.
By the way, the delay in it, it's not me. This is how this particular video is. I'm hoping, I'm trying to remember. I feel like once we get done with this video, the other ones are not this way, or at least the next one isn't.
Proceed. State your name for the record and spell it first and last.
Drew Scott, DREWSCOTT.
Mr. Scott, I'm going to ask you to keep your voice up and direct your answers over here to the jury, okay? Okay?
Yep.
So will you direct your answers over here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Judge asked your name, you're Drew Scott, is that correct?
Yes.
I'm not asking what your address is, but where do you live?
Parsons, Tennessee.
And how long have you lived in Parsons?
All my life.
How old are you?
26.
And what is your birthday?
July 13th, 1991.
Do you know a man by the name of Dana Bobo?
Yes.
Do you know a lady by the name of Karen Bobo?
Yes, ma'am.
You see him in the courtroom?
Yes.
Do you know Clint Bobo?
Yes.
And how did you know?
7/13, day birth, what?
91.
91.
And how did you know? Or how did you know Dana, Karen, and Clint Bobo?
I was buddies with Clint, and probably just out of high school, And
Well, did you also know him through another person?
yeah, through Holly, yes.
Okay. And who's Holly?
Holly Bobo, their daughter.
And what was your relationship to Holly?
We were dating.
I'm gonna ask if exhibit 1 be put on the overhead. Just, you'll turn around and look at the screen. Who's that?
That's Holly?
You said you're dating. Did you love her?
Yes, ma'am.
You're a little bit younger than she was?
Yes,
Just less than a year?
yes.
Did y'all actually go to school together or no?
We did not go to school together.
Did you go to a totally different school? Or just a different year?
Different school.
Do you remember when you started dating her relative to when she disappeared?
I was just freshly out of high school.
And when she disappeared, you would have been 19 then. Your birthday was in July, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
How serious were you about her?
I'm serious.
In fact, did you give her a gift for Christmas
Yes, ma'am.
before she disappeared?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Coach Ron? I'm gonna hand you a box and ask you to open it up. What is that?
That's a ring I bought her for Christmas.
Was it a special ring?
Yes, ma'am.
What'd she call that ring, or what'd you call it?
Promise ring.
Did Holly wear that ring?
Yes, ma'am.
Did she wear it every single day? As best you knew.
Yes.
And Your Honor, I'm not going to introduce it into evidence. Frankly, I hope to return it to the family, but I would like it to be passed if nobody objects.
Let's do this. We'll make it an exhibit, but I will allow you to substitute a photo.
Okay.
Okay? Well, that's
That's perfect. So for the time until I substitute it, I'd ask that be marked as the next
all
number.
right, the exhibit, the 14.
It's evident, and he is a civilian, and he's handling it. What in the world?
And the permission to pass it to
All
the
right, you pass this to the jury, and you can continue your questions while it's being typed.
I want to ask you, Mr. Scott, do you remember back in the spring of 2011, what your routine was with Holly? Like, how frequently did you see her?
Every night.
Would you come to her house?
Yes.
She was in school then, right?
Yes.
Did that keep her pretty busy?
Yes.
Did you have more times on the weekend, more time to spend with her on the weekends?
Yes.
Did you spend the time with her on the weekends?
Yes.
When you weren't with her at night or weren't with her on the weekends, did the two of you talk, text frequently back and forth?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to draw your attention to the early morning hours of April the 13th, 2011. Do you remember where you were that morning?
Yes, ma'am.
Where were you?
I was on a piece of her grandmother's land, Turkey.
And her grandmother that's back here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You said on a piece of her grandmother's land. Where was it?
Bass Springs.
And how far away from Holly's house was this piece of land?
20 miles, 25 miles.
Far. And what were you doing?
Turkey.
What, were you supposed to go to work that day?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you go to work that day?
Yes, ma'am.
So despite, what time were you supposed to be there to work?
8 o'clock.
Despite having to be at work at 8 o'clock, you still turkey hunted that morning?
Yes.
With whom?
My father.
And on this piece of land owned by Holly's grandma, did you see people that morning?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you know who those people are?
I knew one of them.
But you actually had an exchange with them about hunting?
Yes.
And after this exchange with them, because you were on grandma's land, right?
Yes.
Was there a series of calls or texts back and forth between you and Holly and Karen about your permission to hunt on grandma's land?
Yes.
And you had permission to be there.
Yes.
Do you remember the last text or that you got from Holly that morning, what time it was? And if you don't, it's okay.
I don't.
Was it before you went to work though?
Yes.
And you had to be at work at 8?
Yes.
Were you early to work that morning?
Yes, ma'am.
So the last time you heard from Holly would have been before you even got to work.
Yes, ma'am.
And where did you work then?
City of Parsons.
You still work there?
Yes.
When's the last time you actually saw Holly?
The night before.
After that last text on the morning of the 13th, you said you went over to work.
Yes.
At some point in the morning, did something happen?
Yes.
What happened?
My foreman got a phone call and he came to me and had told me what happened.
And what did you do when you got the information about Holly?
I left work and went to where my dad worked and left from there.
Did your dad go with you?
Yes, ma'am.
And where did y'all go?
We went to the Bobos.
And over the next days and weeks, were you over at the Bobos a lot?
Yes, ma'am.
At some point in time, did law enforcement come and ask you where you were that morning, that kind of thing?
Yes.
And have you always been cooperative with them?
Yes.
And you were 20 miles away, hunting with your dad,
Yes.
talking to some other people,
Yes.
and texting with Holly?
Yes.
One moment, Ron.
Yes.
Drew, I don't have any further questions. Defense me.
Just a second, cross-examination.
One question, Ron. I'm sorry, I apologize. Can I put the sack with the box for later? The bag that I took it out of?
Your Honor, I don't think the exhibit number was actually read in the record for me.
It was exhibit 14. I announced that it would be filed as exhibit 14. I think I did.
Mr. Scott, do you remember back in April of 2011 what your telephone number was?
No, ma'am.
Would it have been,
No, ma'am.
do you remember what it was?
Not at the moment. No.
No questions.
None? All right, you can step down, sir. You can remain in the courtroom or you're free to be excused.
Interesting
We're going to
tactic.
recess 12 o'clock straight up there. How about that? Let's allow 1 hour for lunch. You're going to bring it in so that we have time.
All righty. We're going to be pressing on to the next video here. Hopefully I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, texting while you're hunting, but I mean, it is turkey hunting, so it's not like they were hunting for deer or something like that. So that makes it a little different for me. Sorry, I'm going to back this up here.
How's James Barnes?
I got to pause it. Get us all hooked up here. Bear with me. And I did slow it down to 1 1/4 as requested. And we shall see what happens here. I believe this is still part of day 1. And I'll just leave it. I was going to say something else, but yeah, this is Zach Adams, Jennifer was, yes, already beaten down by this point. Good night. Let me try to get us with the witness actually here.
Be seated.
This is
State your name,
James
First and last, and spell them for the court reporter.
Barnes.
James Barnes, JamesBarnes.
All right, thank you.
Anderson, Your Honor?
You may.
Mr. Barnes, you actually go by Ed, is that right? You have to answer out loud.
I would say not really. I mean, not since I
I've
was a
heard some
kid.
people call you Ed. You prefer.
My mother.
His mother, okay.
Gotcha, well, that's probably where I heard it. I'm not asking for your address, your current address, but what city do you live in?
Darden, Tennessee.
And how long have you lived in Darden?
About 14 years now.
Do you know a family by the name of the Bobo family that lived on Swan Johnson Road?
Yes, I live next door.
And when you lived next door, did that encompass a period of time in 2011?
Yeah.
And I asked you about the Bobo family in general. Do you know that the husband and father in the house was Dana Bobo?
Yes, ma'am.
And the mother was who?
Karen.
Karen. And do you know their children by any chance?
Clint, Holly.
You didn't go to school with them, did you?
No, ma'am.
Was your relationship basically just knew them because they were your neighbors?
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't socialize with them, you weren't going back and
No.
forth grilling out or anything like that? And I want to draw your attention to, probably about 7:45 in the morning approximately on. April the 13th,
7:45.
2011.
Morning
And
of the
that's whether you were
incident.
home that morning.
Yes, ma'am.
You said you live next door to the Bobos. Is that next door, like you can reach out and touch your neighbor, or is there some distance between the
It's
houses?
about 750 feet.
Okay. And who all lived at your house or on your property?
At the time, just me and my ex-wife, Cassie Bates.
Was there a child there as well?
Yes, ever. I'm sorry.
And was it a young child,
Yes.
a baby?
He was 4, I think, 4 or 5.
And did your mother stay around there as well?
Yeah, I don't think she had moved off at the time yet.
So what does that mean? You don't think she had moved off?
Yes, she moved up here to Lawrence County.
Okay, so at that time though, she
Yeah, I
was
think she was still there.
on the property. Right.
But she wasn't currently there that morning, though.
She was not?
No.
Okay. But was there 2 places that you could live there, like a
Yes,
trailer and a house? Which one did you stay in with your ex-wife?
The trailer.
Couldn't hear you.
The trailer?
Okay, and when your mom, when she was there, did she stay in the house?
Yes.
And were they close to one another?
Yeah.
In addition to the trailer and the house, were there any other, I guess, buildings or there on your property, like a barn or a shed or anything?
Not
like
at the time, I don't think.
that? I'm sorry?
Not at the time.
Okay. And you're gonna have to speak up, because I'm having trouble hearing.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. Getting the speaker in when your voice kind of goes away. Were you working at the time?
Yes, ma'am.
Where did you work?
For myself,
Doing what kind of work?
construction contracting.
And were you in the middle of a project that April?
Yes.
And did that cause you to get up and leave normal time, 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you and your ex-wife have one or more cars?
Just one.
Right, and because you had one car, does that mean y'all shared one? In other words, you would take her places and
Yes, ma'am.
the child places? And what was your habit in terms of getting her child to daycare?
We took him to different places, his grandmother's, to the daycare center in Parsons, a couple different places.
Well, on April the 13th, do you remember where he was going at that time?
Yeah, we were taking him to his grandmother's in Perry County.
His grandmother's in what county?
Perry County.
Perry County. Now, do you remember something that sort of interrupted the morning routine with getting you and your ex-wife and the child to the right places? Did something happen?
Yeah.
Would you tell the jury, because they want to hear it?
Okay. About 7:50, sometime like that, I heard some arguing going on next door. So I kind of looked through the trees to see what was going on and couldn't see anything at all. And she started screaming a little, and then she quit. And my girlfriend came outside, so I told her to get in the truck, and we went down and we sat at the end of the driveway for a few minutes and didn't see or hear anything. So we went ahead and went on to work.
All right, before we go any further, you were outside when you first heard the screaming?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember what you heard or what words you heard?
It sounded like she was arguing with somebody, and she said stop. I said stop.
Stop, I said stop.
Yeah.
Okay. And at that, when you heard that, did it sound frantic to you, or did you just think someone was messing
Nah.
around
It sounded like she was arguing with somebody she knew. I mean, it didn't sound nothing serious, really. I mean,
at that point?
Yeah.
Okay, did something happen, or did you hear additional screams later that made you actually walk to the tree line?
yeah, she kind of cut out mid-scream, and it just didn't sound right. And so, and my dogs were raising Cain, so I kind of went over there to see what was going on. And like I said, I couldn't see anything from where I was at.
How long did the screaming last?
Maybe a minute and a half. I mean,
And other than no and stop, did you hear, and you said her, did it sound like it was a female's voice?
Yeah.
Other than the no and the stop, did you hear any other words?
No.
Got an answer?
No.
Okay. All right, now you said that you finished loading up your car with your ex-wife and the child, and that you went down your driveway, is that correct?
yes, ma'am.
And went to the base of the Bobo's driveway?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you actually turn up in the driveway?
Just barely. I just kind of pulled my truck up in there and stopped.
Did you pull your truck up in it, but still aiming like you were gonna be driving down the road, or did you pull it up facing the house?
I actually pulled up facing the house.
Okay, how long did you sit there?
About 2 or 3 minutes.
Did you hear anything else?
Nothing. We turned the engine off. There were no vehicles, no nothing.
So at that point, you didn't have anything to worry about, I guess.
No
I
vehicle.
thought so.
I'm sorry?
I thought so.
Okay, and so then you continue on your way?
Well, we left and we made it to about to Parsons, and which is about 4 or 5 minutes away. And me and my girlfriend just wouldn't drop it, so we called my mom and had her call Miss Karen.
You said you called your mom. Did you ask your mom whether or not she had heard anything?
Yeah, I asked her if she had heard them arguing earlier that morning.
And had she?
No.
And you said you had your mom or asked your mom to call Miss Karen. Did you know where Miss Karen worked?
Yes,
And after your mom used to work there as well?
yes. And my previous ex-wife.
Your previous ex-wife. So
Yeah.
everybody comes in your All right.
Number 2.
And after giving your mother or telling your mother that information, did you go into work?
Yes,
And later on in the day, did you, I guess, receive some information that you thought was probably related to what you heard?
yeah. The TBI said that they needed me to come home because they had to question me immediately.
You got to speak up.
The TBI told me that I had to come home because they had to question me immediately.
Okay. And did you do that?
Yes,
Um,
I got there at 11:50.
and I think it's pretty obvious from the fact that who you're with and the baby, you dropped the baby off to your ex-wife to work or on the job, but you didn't have anything to do with what happened to Holly Bobo.
No, ma'am.
Just you happened to have heard something, told your mom, and your mom called Karen Bobo.
Yes.
If you fast forward two photographs. Let's take a look at the first one. Do you recognize what that is?
Sort of.
What does it look like?
It's the side of their garage or their house. The side of their garage or their house.
All right. And does it show the edge of where your property might start or the direction that your property would be in?
I think I'd be more over here.
Okay. Let me show you the second picture. You recognize this?
Yeah. I would be right here, right below those 2 pine trees.
Your Honor, I'm going to ask that these 2 photographs be marked as the next numbered exhibit.
All right, the exhibit 15 and 16.
I'm going to ask Mr. Ragland to put the first picture up on the screen, and if you'll still speak up, but I want you to tell the jury what you were telling me. What do you recognize the side of this building to be?
Yes, I think that's the garage
Okay. And would your house be to the left or to the right?
over there.
This way?
Yes,
My
ma'am.
pointer is?
Yes, to the right.
And what is between the 2 houses?
A pond?
A pond? Now I'm going to ask the next exhibit to be placed. And what do you recognize this to be?
A picture facing over towards my house.
All right, I'm going to pass you the pointer and ask if you can show the jury. It's that button. Look, right there. If you can show the jury where your house is.
Well, my house is about right there, but when the event happened, I was standing in the tree line about right there, right below those 2 pine trees.
And so from that distance, you said it's about 750 feet.
Somewhere in there,
It's quiet there.
Yeah.
And you were able,
especially in the morning.
and you were able to hear the screams from the area of the Bobo house.
Yes, ma'am.
And you said your dogs heard them too.
Yes. Oh, you ain't getting in bed.
One moment. Mr. Barnes, I don't have any more questions. The defense probably does.
All right, cross-examination, please.
Yes.
Can we turn this off so it shines the bright in my eye? Mr. Barnes, my name is Jennifer Thompson, and I am representing Zach Adams in this case. He's the defendant. Now, I wanted to clarify a few things from your testimony. Maybe I couldn't hear you. You're somewhat soft-spoken,
I'm sorry.
or maybe I misunderstood. But in fact, your mother was she was at your house that morning, or on the property that morning, wasn't she?
Yeah, she had left pretty early that morning.
But she was. Well, first, let me just go through. You gave multiple statements to the police and different law enforcement agency over time, didn't you?
Yes.
Matter of fact, you were interviewed that very same day that Holly disappeared, April the 13th, weren't
Yes,
you?
ma'am.
Okay. And you'd agree with me that your memory and your statement that you gave that morning is probably the most accurate of all the statements, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Because it was so fresh in time
Yeah.
to the incident. Okay. And in that statement, you agree that it was around 7:45 that you were loading tools into your pickup truck.
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of truck did you have on that day?
A really old 87 F-150,
Okay, and what color was it?
black.
And it had space in the truck for the car seat, you and your wife.
Yes.
And it was when you were outside when you're loading these tools in the truck, weren't you?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's while you were loading the tools in the truck that you began to hear a girl screaming.
Yes.
Okay. And it sounded like it was coming from the direction of the neighbor's house.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And your first thought was someone was playing or chasing a girl around.
Yes, ma'am.
And and maybe even that they had a snake because of the way that the girl was screaming.
Yes, ma'am.
And the girl was screaming, stop, stop, don't. Is that correct? Okay. And when you heard this, you walked a little closer to the property and the tree line, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You looked through the trees, but you did not see anything at the time.
Nothing.
And the screaming seemed to last for just 1 or 2 minutes. Sometime after the screaming stopped, your ex-wife, Cassie Bates, came outside. Isn't that right?
Yes, ma'am.
She got in your truck, and you asked her if she had heard screams.
Yes.
And she said no. And you started to leave. That's when you left.
The witness didn't answer that question.
I'm sorry.
I'm
I think you nodded your
I
head.
said yes.
Okay. She said no, and you answered.
What did I say to Cassie?
Oh, okay.
Is
Strike
that what
that.
you're asking me?
I just wanted you to repeat your last answer. I think your last answer was no.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
Okay.
Could you please repeat it?
That's where it gets confusing. She entered the truck. You asked her if she had heard anything, and she answered
No, she didn't hear anything.
correct. And there were 2 different ways that you could have taken off that morning to go to drop your stepson off at daycare, weren't
Yes,
there?
ma'am.
One way was the direction away from the Bobo home, and one way was where you would pass the Bobo home. Is that
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
And usually you took the other direction away from the Bobo home, didn't you?
Yeah, because it's a gravel road and
Right.
junky.
Sorry.
But because of what you had heard that morning, and it was so unusual, you decided to change your normal course of behavior, didn't you?
Immediately.
Because after the way that your dogs, I mean, your animals there around you even reacted to the screams they were hearing, didn't they?
Yes, ma'am.
Matter of fact, they put their ears back and they kind of cowered down, didn't they?
Yes.
And that meant something to you too also, didn't it?
Yeah.
So you decided you would drive past the Bobo house.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you drove past the Bobo house, you slowed down to look, didn't you?
And I pulled in their driveway.
Pulled in their driveway and paused for a few minutes.
Turned the engine off.
What?
I turned the engine off.
Okay. Turn
So
the
that way I
engine
could
off.
hear anybody. There was nothing.
Because had you heard anybody at that moment, you would have gone and further investigated, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
And even when you heard someone screaming, you did not ever hear this woman that was screaming yell help, did you?
No, ma'am.
If you'd have heard somebody yell help, you would have gone to help, wouldn't you have?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so you heard nothing when you paused in the driveway and turned off the engine, did you?
Nothing.
And there were no cars in the driveway.
Nothing.
And from the time that you were in your driveway, you didn't see any cars pass your house, did you?
No, absolutely nobody came out, even going the opposite direction from their house, because I kept an eye on the place from the time that I went from the place where I was getting the tools till I got in the vehicle to go down there.
Okay. And
Y'all
after
hear
you passed
that?
the Bobo's house, there's not another street between your house and the Bobo house, is there?
No, ma'am.
I mean, there's no T-bone or cross street or anything.
No.
And after you pass the Bobo's house, there's a small logging road on the left-hand side as you're driving north.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did you look down that logging road?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you see anything?
Nothing.
And did you see any cars on the right-hand side of the road?
No.
Okay. And then just a little further down, you get to a stop sign, don't you? Does that area there, that road down there have a name?
Five Forks.
Five
is what they
Forks
call
Road.
it.
Okay. And did you see any cars there?
No, ma'am.
And that's where you turned and you went on your way towards Perry County, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. Through Parsons.
Through Parsons, yes. And then, but it's when you had the Five Forks corner that you stopped and made a telephone call, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because even though you had seen nothing and you had heard nothing, you were still so disturbed by the screaming that you wanted to let your mother know about it.
Yeah, it didn't seem right.
And so you called your mother and asked her to call Karen Bobo.
Yes, ma'am.
And you used a cell phone that morning to make that call.
Yeah.
And are you aware that that call was made at 7:47?
I didn't know what time it was.
If your cell phone records show that it was made at 7:47, would that be accurate?
Yeah, I would say so.
7:47.
Because I think initially, at some point, you said that you had heard that screaming sometime between 7:40 and 7:45 was when you heard the initial screams.
I was outside at the time. I don't know exactly what time it was. I went outside about 7:15 to start loading up. I mean,
Okay.
the best I can do is give you a guess of what time it was.
Sure.
I mean,
Because you weren't wearing a watch, you weren't keeping
No.
track of time. Okay.
I like this witness. I find him credible and likable. He does not want to be there.
And at some point later that morning, your mother called you and told you to return home.
well, actually, I had numerous messages from her and the TBI and several others
Okay.
indicating that I had to come home for questioning.
Okay. And so you left and you came back to your house.
Yes, ma'am.
And I know you said you heard somebody yelling, stop, stop, don't. But at some point, you even acknowledged that that you had heard the person yelling, stop, God damn it, stop it. Do you
Yeah,
remember
when
that?
it started escalating towards the end, yes.
So there were actually some curse words that were coming out.
One.
Okay. And so eventually you were questioned multiple times by the TBI and the FBI over this incident, weren't you?
Yes, ma'am.
At some point you became a prime suspect in this matter, didn't
Yes,
you?
ma'am.
And one of the reasons that they didn't believe you is because they thought that you,
I'm going to object about how can he possibly know why
Why
they,
they didn't believe you, improper question,
Well-
objection sustained.
okay, was there an issue that they
Whoa.
questioned about your testimony or your version of the story?
and I'm going to object to hearsay if she's asking what a TBI agent questioned him about.
Well, questions, I think, are
Objection
specifically,
sustained,
they're excluded by the hearsay rule.
objection sustained.
You following this?
So,
Already, y'all.
If it helps you
Day
any, I
one.
don't know why.
what?
Said if it helps you any, I don't know why anyway.
Okay. Okay.
You can ask for it either way.
But you were brought in, and actually at some point, you were questioned for hours.
Several
In a-
times.
Several times in a small room.
Yes, ma'am.
And the TBI and the FBI continually came to your house and to your mother's house.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember that dogs that day? You were tracking Holly's scent over to your house?
With my dogs?
No, other tracking dogs
Oh, yes,
followed a
ma'am.
scent to your house that day.
Yes, ma'am.
When the whole time you were not involved in the disappearance of Holly Bobo, were you?
No, ma'am.
And you were simply trying to be a good Samaritan by calling the neighbor, weren't you?
Yes, ma'am.
And you heard someone that you thought sounded like they were in trouble, and you were trying to help them, weren't you?
Yes.
The TBI would eventually had you write out a statement, didn't they?
Yes, ma'am.
In this statement, you wrote, "My name is James Barnes. I provided a
I'm
written."
going to object. That's not an improper way to ask a question. We don't read statements.
Unless it's prior inconsistent or something like that, it's not used.
Well, I can ask him if these statements are true. I'd like to ask you if these things are true.
All right, and don't go with the statement, just ask if it's true.
I
Yes.
thought I already had to sign something to that effect,
Okay.
saying that my statement was true under penalty of law.
Wait.
If the
If
witness,
there's an objection, you need to just hold on for a minute, okay? Because I might
I'm
not
sorry.
allow the question, I might, okay?
sorry.
Thank you.
what I was going to say is she said she
Y'all, the witness is like, let me at these people. I love it.
wanted to know if these things are true. She can ask him any question. If he answers inconsistently,
That's what I just said, okay? Let's move on.
You recognized the scream that morning as being that of a young girl.
Yes, ma'am.
You had met Holly before.
Yes, ma'am.
You recognized it as what you thought was Holly's voice.
Yes, ma'am.
You were outside by yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Cassie Bates was still inside.
Yes, ma'am.
Your mother, Kathy Weiss, was at home also.
No, she wasn't home at the time.
She was in her home.
No.
So your mother, Cassie Bates, not Kathy, your mother, Kathy Wise, you're now saying she was not at home?
I don't think she was at home.
Where do you think now she was?
I think she had went to town for something.
Okay.
If she had been home, she'd have been out there helping me load up tools. I know her.
Now, she didn't live in town, did she?
No.
Okay. She lived on the property?
Between there and her new place in Lawrenceburg.
Okay. Okay. When she lived on the property, did she live in the barn behind your house?
Yes, ma'am.
So now I'd like to ask about a prior inconsistent statement, Your Honor.
Hey, all right. Does it follow what you just asked him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you may.
So when you made your written statement, didn't you in fact say that my mother, Kathy Wise, was in her home, the barn behind my house?
I don't know what I put in the written statement. That was 6 years ago. But if she was home and I said she was in there, then she may have been. But I don't recall her being home.
Okay. So now it's just a fuzzy memory for you.
That's what 7 years does.
Yes. And just in case not everybody knows, Perry County is east of Parsons, Tennessee, isn't that right?
Yes, ma'am. The next county over.
Towards the Tennessee River.
Yes.
Do you remember what your telephone number was at the time?
No.
Okay. At some point, things grew very uncomfortable between your family and the Bobo family, didn't they?
Yes.
And it grew uncomfortable between your mother and the Bobo family, didn't it?
Yes.
Do you still live on that property?
Yes.
Did your mother live there anymore?
No.
Okay. And you said earlier she'd moved to Lawrence County.
She was in the process of it.
Okay.
I'm not sure what part of the process she was at that time. I don't remember. Like I said, it's been a long time.
Okay. If I could have one.
Y'all seeing some of this bullying? Lends more and more credibility to the post-conviction relief hearings that we have watched bits and pieces of. It does for me anyway. I'm gonna
Year the
zoom on.
TBI.
Okay.
Would it be accurate to say that for over a year, the TBI continually came around your house to attempt to get you to confess?
Yes, ma'am.
No further questions.
Anything else for the director? Okay.
Would it also be accurate to say that you didn't have anything to do with it?
Yes, ma'am.
One last question about the series of questions about how you perceived the screams. They were frightening enough to you that when you heard them or when it stopped, you actually got a cold chill.
Oh yeah, my hair stood up everywhere, and I looked around, and every one of my dogs, they were on the ground, their ears were up, and Cassie walked outside right then, and I just told her, I screamed at her, I said, "Get in the truck now," and she thought she'd done something wrong or something.
It was that.
But we got down there within about 45 seconds.
It was that impactful to you, though.
Yes, ma'am.
That's all, Your Honor.
Anything else? All right. You step down, Mr. Barnes, you're free to excuse or you can find out for me. Call your name.
So,
Karen Bobo.
Karen Bobo. Oh, she's here. I forgot she's your representative. Raise your right hand, please. Solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God. Be seated and state your name for the record and spell first and last.
Karen
oh,
Bobo, KarenBobo.
sweet niblets. All right. Before we start with this poor woman. Okay. I didn't see the look that bad Jennifer gave good Jennifer. I'm so sorry. But oh my gosh, I had another thought that I wanted to. Oh, I see in my note here. 45 seconds to get from his house from his driveway to the end of the Bobo driveway. 45 seconds. There was no vehicle there, no vehicle in the street or in the yard or anywhere. So this whole scenario that is going to come out, I want you to remember this because I believe there's supposedly 3 people taking her. I want you to remember that. All right.
Let me sit counsel up here just a minute.
Oh, Lord. I don't know what we're doing here.
What I mentioned, but
Just breathe. Earlier, you were in the court, present in court earlier when Dana Bobo testified,
Yes, ma'am.
and that's your husband.
It is.
How long ago they married?
35 years.
You have 2 children together,
2 children, Clint and Holly.
and Holly's date of birth.
10/12/90.
And the whole time that she was alive, where did you live? And you also, well, I should just speak up. That was hard. Everybody, everybody's gonna be with you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Had Holly ever moved out of the house, or did she, once she graduated from high school and started college, did she stay in your house?
Yes, she'd always stayed in our house. She never moved out.
There's been some mention today about her being in a nursing program. So let me ask you, when did she graduate from high school?
She graduated in 09.
Did she go to college first?
She did. She actually took a couple classes in high school, college classes, and then after graduating high school, she went to college for a year.
Where did she go?
Jackson State, Lexington campus.
And after that year, did she transfer to a different program?
She did. It was a bridging program, a 12-month program that bridged into the RM program, and they were a handpicked, I believe, 25, and they called and asked her if she would be in that program.
Okay, and where did she take classes after her first year at Jackson?
The nursing class was at UT Martin Parsons campus,
And how far away from your home was this UT Martin Parsons?
about 6 miles.
Was it a rigorous program?
Very rigorous.
How many days a week did Holly go to school?
Holly went to school 4 days a week. She was off on Friday.
How did she spend her Fridays?
She spent her Fridays house cleaning. She would usually get up pretty early, clean the house so she could have the afternoon to do something else.
What were Dana's hours back in that time?
To the best of my memory, he probably left home around 5:30 and got home around 5:30 or 6 in the afternoon.
And he was working for McKinsey Tree Service?
Yes, ma'am.
And what about you? How did you spend your days?
I spent my day teaching second grade at Scottsville Elementary School. I usually tried, my goal was always to leave at by 7 o'clock, and I got home around 3:30 every day.
And what about Clint?
Clint was working part-time and going to school at UT Martin in Martin 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Your husband said that he was a social worker. Was he already a social worker at that time?
No, ma'am, he was working at the nursing home,
Studying to be what?
studying to be a social worker.
So is it fair to say that during the day, Monday through Friday, except when Holly was off on Fridays, generally, was everybody gone?
Yes, ma'am.
Who left first most days, Holly or Clint?
Tuesdays and Thursdays, Clint left early, like at 6 o'clock. I think his first class was at 8 at Martin. And then on Monday and Wednesday, I believe Holly left first.
And this routine, this family life, was that pretty, did it just repeat itself week after week? You guys
Yes,
going to
ma'am.
work, Holly going to school, Clint doing both?
Yes, ma'am. Very routine.
You saw me put a picture of a young lady up on the overhead earlier. Who is that?
That's my daughter, Holly.
Now, I want to draw your attention April 13th, 2011, okay? And ask, do you remember what day of the week that was?
Wednesday.
And was that Wednesday very much like every other Wednesday in your household?
It was.
Do you remember if Holly had anything special going on in school?
When I got up that morning, Holly's door was closed. Clint's door was open. So I closed his door. He snores, plus he had a surround sound. I think the television was on in the surround sound. So I closed his door and opened hers. And she was sitting on the bed studying. I think she told me she'd been up since 4:30 that morning studying. So I went on about my business, getting ready. And then later, I packed her lunch. And then she asked me to get her some muffins.
Let me stop you here.
Yes, ma'am.
So, this conversation that you had with her when she was sitting on her bed, did she see herself?
Yes, ma'am.
Everything was normal.
Everything was very good.
And you said she was studying for a test?
She was. They had a test just about every day, but depending on what they were studying as to how much she had to study extra. So it must have been something pretty hard
Because she was already up.
because she was already up.
Now, you said you went on about your business. At some point, did Holly leave her bedroom and go somewhere else in the house?
She did. She left her bedroom and evidently had taken a shower and put her clothes on
Why do you say that?
because when I left, she was sitting at the dining room table studying. And she asked me, could I grab her some muffins because I usually fixed muffins every other morning. And I remember telling her yes. And I got them out of the refrigerator and put them in the microwave. And I said, just heat them up. I'm in a hurry. Got to go.
You said you made her lunch. What you did with that?
I think I stuck it back in the refrigerator. That's what I did every morning. Made her lunch and then stuck it back in the fridge.
And did you notice or see lunch/gas money that had been left somewhere in the kitchen by your husband?
Yes, at some point in time, I picked up the $20 bill. And I guess Holly must have been in the shower because I went into her bedroom and I was afraid she would forget it because that's just how I was, always doing everything, making sure nobody forgot anything. So I took the money and I actually put it in her wallet in her purse.
And did you tell her goodbye?
I did. Told her goodbye and I loved her.
Where was she when you told her that?
She was sitting at the dining room table studying
Do you remember what time you left for work?
around 7.
And when you left, what door did you go out?
I went out the back door, the door I always used.
Now, there have been some pictures of the attached carport. Did you see those pictures today?
I did.
Is that the area that you parked your car in?
Yes, ma'am.
If we are standing outside of the carport looking at the cars, who parked where?
Holly parked on this side.
Left or right? If we're looking at the rear of the cars.
If you're looking at the rear of the cars, hers will be on the left and mine would be on the right. So I had to walk past her car to get to my car.
Was your car there?
Her car was there.
Everything seemed normal in your garage or in your carport?
Yes.
Did you see or hear anything that concerns you?
No.
You said you left approximately 7. When you got there, how long did it take you to get to school?
It takes me about 25 minutes.
Did you do anything special while you were in the car driving?
I talked to a friend of mine, Tina Cruz, on the phone.
And frankly, was that something you did nearly every day?
Yes. She had a long drive. I had a long drive. So we usually talked every morning on the way to school.
And did any texts or any calls come in while you were talking to Tina that interrupted that conversation?
Yes, Holly tried to call me.
Did you hang up with Tina or did you not pick up on with Holly?
I can't remember if I waited till I got to school to call Holly and pulled in the parking lot, or if I let Tina go and talk to Holly then.
But you talked to Holly on the phone after you left your house about the time you were getting to school?
Yes,
Did you talk to Holly once or more than once?
more than once.
And what in the world were you talking about since she had a test and it's time for you to go to work?
Well, she told me that she had spoken with Drew. She talked to Drew on the phone, and that he was on my mom's property turkey hunting, and he had run into my cousin's son, and that they had questioned him and wanted to know who gave him permission to hunt.
So he had permission to hunt, right?
He did. It was just kind of a blanket permission.
So based on that conversation, did you make some other calls, reach out, call your mother, do that kind of thing?
Yes, I don't remember in which order, but I called Drew and asked him, was everything okay? And he told me that Bo had asked him about who gave him permission. He told him that Holly's grandmother, and told him that he was Holly's boyfriend. And then I called my mom and told her that Drew was over there hunting. And then I called Holly back and told her everything was okay.
And when you called her back to say everything was okay, did you know at that time whether she was still at home or did you think she had left for school?
No, she was still, I think she was still at home.
I mean, that's not, you didn't ask her.
I didn't ask her, no. But by the timing, I thought she was still at home.
So did all of these sort of back and forth calls with your mom and Holly and Drew, did that cause you to be a minute late to get into your classroom or to get into school?
Yes, it did. And we're not supposed to have our cell phones with us. So I left my phone in my room and I walked to the cafeteria where my students already were, and the other second grade teacher was watching both classes.
And so the other teacher had actually had to carry your kids to the
Yes,
cafeteria.
yes,
Right? And you said you left your phone in your room,
yes,
your classroom.
yes, ma'am.
And do you remember about what time breakfast at Scotts Hill, is it elementary?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Happened, like what time was that when you were in the cafeteria with the kids?
We usually went to breakfast, I think about 7:35 or 7:40, somewhere around there.
So they were already there and you walked in.
Yes,
Nevertheless, was it before 8?
yes, ma'am.
Was your plan that you would be the one to take the kids back to the classroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Did you do that?
No,
Tell the jury what happened.
I hadn't been in the cafeteria very long, and the secretary of the school came to the cafeteria, and she said that the neighbor had called and said she didn't want to alarm me, but she thought she heard screams coming from the house. So that's not a phone call that I got every day. I'd never gotten a phone call like that. So I almost instantly got into a panic at that point, walking pretty fast back to the school, because our cafeteria is outside the school. So I go back inside the building, and I went and used the phone, and I called
Where did you go? Did you go back in the building? Where? To your room?
to the library, to the closest phone I could get to, which was normally would have been the office phone, but I must have looked over there and there were parents bringing their kids in. So that's why I used the library phone. But I called Clint and I asked my son, Clint, what's going on? And he said, did Holly not have school today? And I said, yes, why? And he said, well, I think she's out here with Drew. And I don't know what made me say it. This instant panic came over me, and I said, that's not Drew. Call all the neighbors, I think is what I said. And then I ran over to the office and I called 911. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I remember they said it was Henderson County. We live in Decatur County, so I hung up. I think I fell on the floor at that point. And I guess I called Clint back, but I don't really remember now if it was from the library phone or the office phone. And he was still talking about, was Holly not going to school today when she turkey hunting with Drew? And I said, that's not Drew. And at some point I said, get a gun and shoot him. And I remember Clint saying, you want me to shoot Drew? And then a friend of mine and co-worker, Terry Bromley, I think she pulled me up out of the floor. And she was pulling me to her We were trying to get to her vehicle, and as soon as we got to her vehicle, I called 911 again, and I got Decatur County that time.
So Terry Brumley is a friend and a coworker,
Friend, coworker, used to be Holly's basketball coach
so somebody that had known Holly for,
since she was in 6th grade, maybe.
you said Miss Brumley was pulling you towards where?
Toward the gym. She parked in front of the gym.
So she was gonna take you.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you in any shape to drive at that?
No,
Did you have your cell phone?
I didn't,
Because,
because it was down in my room.
did Terry start heading back towards your house?
Yes,
And you said 25 minutes if you're not speaking.
yes, ma'am.
And you made another phone call. Whose phone did you use?
Terry's.
And who did you call?
I called 911 with her phone.
And you got somebody that time on the phone?
I did.
Look at a disc and see if you can tell us if you recognize it or not.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you recognize this disc as opposed to every other disc?
Because I initialed it.
What is it?
It's my 911 call.
Your Honor, ask that we mark this as the next number exhibit.
We are 17. Who did evidence exhibit 17?
I think you initialed it. Did you initial it after listening?
Yes, ma'am.
And does this truly reflect what you told the 911 operator on your way back home?
Yes, ma'am.
Permission to publish, Your Honor?
Yes. Okay. They're on their way. Is that where you live? Okay, you live here? Okay, good. Okay, look, I got officers on the way right now. Okay, Karen? They're on their way, sweetie, right now. This is Rob. They're on their way, sweetie. I got everybody on their way right now already. Do we know? Say, can't see them. Are they in a vehicle? Okay. Okay. All right. I've got option there. I'm gonna let them know. Okay. Okay. They're on their way, sweetie. They're on their way right now. Okay, and this is going, hey, what's your daughter's name again? Okay, this is Holly. Okay, and she's what, 16, 17? Okay, she's 20. All right. 20-year-old female, dark hair. Yeah, male perfect, camouflage. Drug her off through the woods. That's the way behind your house here? Okay, it's gonna be right there, head there, house. Yeah. Okay, I got one on the way, honey. Everybody is on the way.
Did Terry drive you home?
Yes, she did.
When you got there, what was going on at the house?
I think I remember seeing two. I remember seeing Jeremy Pratt because I knew him. He went to church with us.
Who was that?
He was a police officer for Decatur County. And he told me I couldn't go around to the back of the house. I couldn't go in the woods. I remember just slinging him off on me, and I took off running. Terry and I both took off running. I do remember seeing Clint when I got there. I think he was standing outside the cop car. I remember seeing Kathy Wise, my neighbor. I remember her saying, "You can't go around to the back of the house." And I think I fell down then too.
As the morning wore on, did more people come?
More people came.
Did more law enforcement come?
They did.
You have any idea how many people were out there at your house, the yard, the roads, woods?
I don't know.
At some point that day, were you asked to leave your house so that law enforcement could do some work there?
Sometime, I think it was around lunch, maybe.
Did y'all do that?
We did.
How long was it before you went back to the house?
Friday night. That was on Wednesday. And we went back and got some clothes. Maybe the next day. But we didn't stay at our house again until late that Friday night.
You said you took off running through the woods with Terry. What were you doing? What were you trying to do?
I was just trying to find Holly.
And is that what you devoted yourself to from that moment forward?
Yes, ma'am.
Over the next days and weeks, did your life change dramatically from what it was when you got up that Wednesday morning?
It did. It went from just a average family, very routine, to it was day and night, and that's about it. We didn't keep up with the time. We were just looking for Holly, and our house was full of people once we got back home, and then I started keeping notebooks and keeping notes, and we'd turn all the tips and leads in, but then we'd also follow up on them too. And we went to people's homes, questioning them, and then people weren't home, and we thought a building looked abandoned or something. We'd just go in it. We were just constantly searching day and night.
Not just you though, right?
No, it was
A lot of people.
a lot of people. I don't think my sister or some of my teacher friends went back to school the rest of that year. And then we searched all summer, and then I didn't go to work. I didn't go back that whole next year.
You said you didn't go back to work.
No, I didn't. My mom moved in with us and lived with us because I wasn't capable of taking care of myself, basically.
I'm going to pass you a stack of 8 pictures. Keep them in this order and look at them and tell me when you finished, okay?
They show the inside of our house.
Just parts of the inside of your house or all of it?
No, just parts of it.
Your Honor, I'm going to ask that those be marked as the next numbered exhibits.
18 through, what's 8?
What do we do? 18, 26.
18 through 26, okay.
Left shoulder. Maybe two lights.
No, they're in the hallway. I told her yesterday that please mark for it. Look at this.
Looking at, while they're fixing the lights, looking at what's been marked as exhibit 18. What is the jury looking at right in this room?
That's our living room.
And this door?
That's our front door.
All right, so if you come in the front door, you walk directly into the living room.
Yes.
What is this open door in the rear
That's
or the left?
mine and Dana's bedroom.
On the other side of this wall is what? If you were to go around,
That's our bedroom, and then bathroom and closet.
where is the carport in relation to this room?
At the back, going that way at the back of the living room.
Okay. Next one, please. Is exhibit 19 the same room but from a different angle?
That's the same room. That's our front door.
I had this right here.
That door side lights on each side of the door.
You're saying the word side lights?
Side lights.
And was this structure on both sides?
Yes.
You could stand on the inside and see outside
Yes.
without opening the door?
Yes.
And what is this room down here?
And that's our den.
Okay. Next one. Again, is this the front? Same
Yes.
front door? On a
Yes.
different side light?
Yes.
That's through this door.
That's where you walk into the kitchen, then dining room, then the other bathroom, and Clinton Holly's bedrooms.
Next one. This doorway, whose room are we looking into?
That's Holly's bedroom.
And is this the view you have from standing in the hall?
Right when you walk through the door.
Okay. Next one. What is this?
That's her bed, and
What are these and what's this?
that's where she had her pillows up against the wall studying that morning. And that's her comforter and her cowboy hat.
And is this the way her bedding and room looked when you last saw her sitting there
Yes,
before she moved to the kitchen table?
yes, ma'am.
You mentioned bathroom.
That would be the bathroom that Clinton Holly used. And if you come out of the bathroom, you can see into Holly's bedroom.
This door frame right here,
Yes,
looking into Holly's.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. What is this?
And that's the dirty clothes hamper beside the vanity in Clinton Holly's bathroom.
Who pretty routinely left her hair dryer there on top of the dirty clothes?
That would be Holly.
And is this the way, I guess, what this looked like to the right of the vanity? Is this where she actually put her dirty clothes?
Yes,
And the last one. You didn't put that yellow placard there, did you?
no, I did not.
Were you asked, but nevertheless, this is the same dirty clothes basket?
Yes, that's the same one. That's Holly's jeans, and that's that pink. That's her t-shirt.
All right. Would you turn the lights back up? Were you asked to retrieve something? Were you asked to retrieve something out of Holly's belongings out of the dirty clothes basket by law enforcement?
Yes,
What were you asked to find?
they asked me to. I think they asked me to get a pair of her panties.
And did you find a pair of her panties
Yes, I did.
out of that basket?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you provide those to law enforcement?
I did.
Can you imagine? How horrifying. I know, Melissa. I just want to give her a hug and bring her tea also. It's going to get worse.
I'm going to pass forward a bag and gloves. If you don't have to take them out, you don't have to. But look in there and tell me if you recognize,
What are we-
Holly's panties?
are those the panties that you provided to law enforcement?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, ask this to be marked as the next numbered exhibit.
No objection, exhibit.
Why? Why was that necessary? I start getting really ticked off as we continue this.
Somebody added,
I probably said it.
somebody told me
I think I did.
8 plus 18 would be 26, but if it starts with 18, it's actually 25, so this is 26.
Y'all better hang on.
And
Buckle
were you,
up.
Did you know why they wanted that particular item of clothing from Holly?
I did not.
They just asked for it and then you turned it up to them.
I did.
I asked you a few minutes ago what door you left when going to work that time.
The back door.
So if you walk out your back door, are there any steps down into the carport or is it smooth?
You walk out onto the back deck, and then directly to your left as you're going out, you'll go down 2 steps into the carport.
To get to your car, how did you get to your car? What did you pass by?
I passed by Holly's car.
And in passing to get to Holly's car, did you go down those steps?
I went down those steps in front of her car, around to my car.
I'm going to pass forward 2 photographs.
Just nasty old fat.
In the front of a car.
I do.
In fact, the front of one of the cars is a license plate tag that you recognize.
Yes.
And what are these pictures of? Whose house, whose carport?
That's ours.
Are these steps that you walked down to get to your car on April the 13th?
Yes.
Ask you to mark as the next numbered exhibit, Your Honor.
Okay, did you wish to publish the last 2 or not?
Oh, that published.
27, 28 have been published.
Are these on the Exhibit 27 on the overhead. Karen, when you went down the steps that morning,
That blow is not there.
and you walked, are these the steps you talked about?
Those are the steps, but that blow was not there. But I did see it later that day.
When you left that morning, this is directly how you walked?
Yes, ma'am.
You've seen it?
I would have seen that blood. It was not there.
All right. Next exhibit, please. So this is the way you came out the back door, walk down the steps, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Steps down. What about these drops?
They weren't there.
Can't hear you.
They weren't there.
So rude. So rude.
You said that over the next weeks and months, you didn't go back to school, you just sort of did a lot of searching and following up on leads, is that right?
Yes.
Did you actually look in abandoned buildings and get structures that weren't abandoned, just whatever you could look, you looked?
Yes.
Was your number, your cell number, like out there in the public? And had it been,
Yes. I think I even had it put on a card at some point in time
so that people could call you?
so that people could call.
And at some point, did you get a call from a young lady that identified herself as Adnisha Prosper?
Yes, I did.
Can you describe that phone call to the jury?
She called me and she said, I think I have this is Holly's, I'm not sure exactly what she said, but I think she said, is this Holly's mom? And I said, yes. And she said she had Holly's SIM card. And so I told Dana and Clint, and they agreed to go meet her.
Okay, let me ask you this. When you got that, did you actually think that somebody did have her SIM card?
I did, but Dana didn't.
And so did Dana go someplace to meet this woman who had called, or this young lady that had called?
Yes, him and Clint went, and
Did they return with something?
they did. And while they was gone, I called. I don't remember if I called the TBI or the local law enforcement and told them about it.
And did the law enforcement come to your house?
They did. They came and got the SIM card that night.
So you sort of answered my next question. Did they bring the SIM card back?
Yes, they did.
And then you turned it over to law enforcement that night?
Yes.
Did you put it in a phone or check it out to see if it was hers or not?
No.
You just turned it over.
Yes.
Did you, in the course of, I guess, trying to help law enforcement look for Holly, did you even provide them a list of things that were in her purse?
I did.
How did you know what was in her purse?
Because I'd put the money in her purse that morning, and I knew what was in her purse because her wallet, she and I bought when we went to Maurice's together, and her purse. I'm sure I probably bought the pencil bag, or we'd gotten it together because Holly, she never wanted to go. She hated to shop. So usually if she shopped, we went together. I'd just pick up something and it was fine with her.
So were you able to give law enforcement a whole list of things that they should be on the lookout for that would have been in her purse?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you also describe for them what she was wearing that morning, since you saw her studying at the kitchen table?
Yes, I did.
And what was she wearing?
She was wearing a pair of jeans and a girly girl t-shirt.
What does that mean?
That's a name brand, and in the back of it said, I think it said, "Don't squat with your spurs on." And then I didn't know what kind of shoes she was wearing because she didn't have her shoes on. But when I went to her closet, I was able to tell them by what pair was missing. And I didn't, of course, see her in her bra and panties, but I was also able to tell them what bra and panties was missing because I did most of the laundry. Even though Holly house cleaned, she didn't do much laundry.
Okay. And what kind of shoes did you tell law enforcement that Holly was wearing?
A pair of black Old Navy flip-flops.
So,
And we had actually talked about that morning because she had, not that she was going to wear flip-flops, but she had asked me what the weather was going to be. I said, I think it's kind of going to be cool this morning, but hot in the afternoon.
and that was during the time when she was studying for her test?
Yes.
Do you remember today what kind of test it was or what she had to turn in that day?
No, I don't.
I want you to look at one document and ask if you recognize it.
I do.
What is that?
That's her, she had to study for her names of different drugs, I think, but that is definitely her handwriting.
Is there a date on the paper?
4/13/11.
You're going to ask if this be marked the next time you consider it.
Right, people that are 29.
Think we can publish that?
We're not going to see more stock screen.
You said, while we're doing that, you said she had been working on some med cards for different drugs. This says drug card rate sheet, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Whose writing is this?
That's Holly's writing.
And what's the date?
4/13/2011.
That's the last morning you saw it.
That is.
You said you,
When you form the jury, if you go to deliberations, you don't have all these physical exhibits. You don't have to. So I mean, you can't see it clearly as you like, you'll actually have the exhibit up there.
did you pack your lunch that day?
I did.
What did lunch box look like?
I remember it had polka dots on it, and it had her initials.
Pass the sack and look at the contents of the sack. You can pull it out.
Y'all,
It's her lunch box. Yes, ma'am.
I wouldn't be able to do this. She is opening the lunchbox that she packed for Holly on the last day of her life.
Sandwich you made for her?
Yes.
What are we doing here? No gloves, handling everything. It's your dead child's last belongings, partially drank Mountain Dew.
Is that
What?
lunch?
Yes, ma'am.
Woo!
You left that morning, that was in the refrigerator.
I couldn't do it, Ava. There is no way I could do this. No way. And I can't believe any attorney in their right mind would ask
Your Honor, I'm not gonna pass it. May I have permission to hold it up?
Yes.
a mother to do this. Oh yes, Kelly. I know it's all for show. 6 years the food's been in there. 6 years. Oh, we're not done, guys. Oh, we're not done yet. That's not the worst of it. It was shortly after this that I stopped
Whether
watching.
you were able to provide law enforcement with a list of things that Holly had with her in her purse, if her purse was with her, right?
Yes.
You felt pretty comfortable that you would, with the items or what you told them that she had, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Why is the attorney opening the bag? What in the wide world of sports are we doing right
What
now?
is this?
It looks like her purse.
Is that her purse?
It's her purse.
The straps are gone, but you recognize that as being hers. Ask if we mark this the next time.
In the exhibit, in the evidence, it's exhibit 31.
I know it's very emotional, but it's hard.
You might have to get a little closer to the mic.
That is her purse. It's very hard to look at all that stuff off. Tattered and torn. Because it didn't look like that morning. But that's her purse.
Did you tell TBI that there would be a camera in her purse?
I did.
Do you recognize this?
And that's her camera.
Next time with exhibit, John?
32.
Holly's car was still there though, right? In your house when you got back?
Yes, I was.
But did you tell TBI that she had keys? She had a key ring in her purse.
Yes, she did.
Did you describe for them, or can you describe what her
It
she
was
looked like?
It was a big H and it had like rhinestones. And the Browning symbol.
And the what symbol?
The Browning, like she had on the back of her car, the pink Browning symbol and the H. That's her keys.
Is this her car key?
Yes, ma'am.
Permission just to hold it up, Your Honor?
Yes, KS Granny, that's how it's supposed to be done appropriately, is the individual that collected the evidence would be the one that would bring it into a court of law. And now let me display it, because they won't be able to see it when they go deliberate, apparently. This cranky fat of a woman. Oh, so enraging. I would normally fast forward, but I want you all to see her handling everything and opening it up and displaying it.
Earlier in your testimony that you told them about her wallet because you were there when she purchased it.
Yes. That is her wallet.
Her wallet.
I'm going to open it.
Oh, we're going to open it. Great.
There appear to be several cards in here. What is that?
That's her prescription card, medicine card.
What is this one?
And so Jackson State ID. That's her doctor when she goes to the doctor.
Her insurance card?
Her insurance card. That's her driver's license.
Her license.
Yeah, this one marked as
33. 33. Unless I'm not paying, I think it's keys. Car keys, yeah, 33 is the keys. This is 34 wallet and country.
Permission to publish on this?
Yes.
You nasty linebacker bat heifer.
I'm going to ask that the wallet be passed back to, but not contents, passed back to Ms. Bobo. And I want you to look in it and tell me if there's a $20 bill where you put money, that money.
Is she for real a $20 bill in the wallet? Woman.
No, there's nothing in it.
How do you have an inhaler?
Yes, you did.
Did you have
Take
asthma?
just a minute. I'm balancing.
Let's take a look at this. I want everyone to remain with me while the jury files out, please. Got a nurse. Come on. Let's let the jury go ahead and file out. Get your lights card, please.
Don't move. Come here, Karen. Come here, baby.
Everyone else remain with me, please.
I feel like I can't breathe.
Are we surprised that the woman went into an hysterical crying fit after having to handle all of her dead child's belongings? And then on top of that, as if that wasn't enough, wrong button. As if that wasn't enough, we're going to make her open the wallet to see if there's a $20 bill in it. This crazy old heifer. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, Mom kind of collapsed and had a little conniption fit, and I do not blame her at all. I am horrified that, first of all, she had to handle anything and that they allowed her to handle it without any sort of gloves or anything on. What is happening? Yeah. So earlier when I wanted to give her a hug and give her some tea, oh yeah. Even like now I'm like, just take the woman to the hospital and let her try to recover for like a week or two. Who does that? What prosecuting attorney in the United States, other than this nasty, disgusting, despicable, rude, and disrespectful woman, does this? Completely inappropriate, completely uncalled for. All right, we're going to continue on.
We'll bring her back in a minute. Defense counsel indicated that they wanted a jury out. I'll be glad to hear anything.
I don't know if you caught that. The defense was requesting that the jury be taken out of the courtroom. Do you think? I mean, the victim's mother just collapsed on the witness stand out of grief and sadness. And you, judge, are only going to take that jury out because, I mean, after all, the defense requested it. What in the world is happening?
To reflect at the time that Ms. Bobo was being cross-examined, Ms. Nichols was at the
She wants to be cross-examined,
direct examination. She was being handed certain items, very personal items. And at that time, apparently, Karen Bobo suffered a panic attack. She passed out in front of the jury. She required medical attention. And under these facts, I think it's going to be impossible for her to get a fair trial, for Mr. Adams to get a fair trial from an impartial jury. I think they're so tainted at this point that the proceedings should be stopped and a new jury should be called.
All right, let me say this. The witness was within 5 feet of the court. She first started, she said words to the effect that she was not feeling well. Before I could get a recess called, and we had a little problem I was trying to solve media-wise, that I'd almost called a recess. I dealt with that here in the recess. But before I could get a recess call, she in fact had a medical event, and she passed out cold. This chair is fixed, so they had some difficulties extricating her. The jury was in passing or filing out the door at that time.
I didn't hear her pass out.
A medical event. There's no question. This was not something fake to gain sympathy. This lady had a medical issue.
It doesn't matter.
A nurse came up immediately, thank you, whoever that was. And then they had paramedics on call. The sheriff has, and he's had them here arranged since day one. They won't give us an ambulance, but they will give us paramedics close.
Sir, it doesn't matter if it was intentional or not. It is the fact that it happened in front of a jury. What in heaven's world is going on?
They have dealt with her. They feel that she's ready to go now. They said extremely low blood pressure when they first started, as I understand. Very rapid heart beat, types of things that are consistent with syncope disease. Okay? And I know because I've had it. And they're no fun. But this was not something that was done in an effort to achieve any type of sympathy or anything.
No one is saying that.
That they are not to give any sympathy whatsoever because of the fact that Ms. Bobo apparently had a medical event, which Ms. Bobo was.
Your Honor.
Do you want me to instruct them for that?
Yes, Your Honor, I would ask for it. And also, Your Honor, after they finish their direct examination, we would like, of course, to have an opportunity to cross-examination because of the medical event. We would ask that we have a recess until in the morning to begin our cross-examination.
I'm not going to do that. I will continue to watch. Basically, the paramedics.
Y'all catch that?
Comes up at this time. So I'm trying to march this case toward conclusion. I don't know any reason to lose that kind of time. I'll make sure that you have an adequate opportunity to cross-examine, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
We don't want to take any time for the victim's mother. you know, we got to move this thing along. So we can't take any time for the victim's mother to recoup before the cross-examination takes place. The defense has more compassion for the freaking victim's family than the stinking prosecution does. Woo! And yes, we all know, based on what she was saying, she didn't go back to work. She had to have her mother come and take care of her at her house because she wasn't taking care of herself. Oh. My rage.
We've been on recess about 30 minutes. Immediately prior to that recess, the witness had a medical event that necessitated us getting a recess. Everything should be good to go now. I want to tell you and instruct you that you're to have no sympathy or prejudice for either side of this case. The mere fact that she had a medical event, please don't sympathize with that side of the case because of that. Listen to the testimony, give it the weight you think that it deserves, but just basically set aside the fact that she had a medical event. Okay, we'll let you do that. All right, thank you. All right, you can continue. And I instructed the attorneys to speak up. Ms. Bobo, you might have to get on that mic, okay?
Yes, sir.
Now she wants a moment? Absolutely not, you old
I
bat.
had my hearing checked last Wednesday to make sure I wasn't going down. And believe it or not, it was pretty good. But I've lost a little
This
bit of high
guy.
frequency. It's in might affect the hearing of higher pitched females or said something like your grandkids. I said, you don't know my grandkids. There's no problem hearing them. All right,
No, shut up.
Ms. Bobo,
Isn't your
did we get 34, Mark? Well, okay. Yes.
this isn't your opportunity to do stand up in the flipping court. What is the Oh my. Oh my.
You indicated that during in the weeks and months that followed, that you, I guess, were tracking down a number of leads
Yes,
or
ma'am.
tips or people that became of interest to you or that you heard from. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
Included in those people that you talked to, did that list of people include Zachary Adams?
Yes, it did.
Do you see him in the courtroom?
Yes, I do.
Would you point him out to the jury, please?
Right there.
There's a number of people sitting on the side of the courtroom. Where is he sitting?
He will be sitting seconds from the podium.
Okay, for the record, the defendant.
And where did you encounter him?
Clinton, I went to his house.
Did you go, are you familiar with Adams Lane?
I wasn't.
Okay, but you became familiar with Adams Lane?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that like a long driveway and at the top there's two houses?
Yes, ma'am.
Who lives in one house?
The first house you get to is Zach's house and then his granddad's house.
And what is the first house that you went to at the end of that driveway?
We went to Zach's house and he didn't come to the door. And that was me and Dana and Clint, I believe. And so we went on to his granddad's house and Dylan was there and his granddad. And I asked him, was Zach at home? He said he was at home. And I said, well, he didn't come to the door. He said, well, maybe he left.
I'm going to object to yours. And we're not offering this for the truth. It's just simply to show what her response was.
What she did.
Yes.
All right. It's not here to you. That's no objection overruled.
All right, so you said you knocked on Zach's door. He wasn't there. Then you go to
Catch
the door
that?
to Dylan and
There'll be
Big
more.
Adam's house?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and who answered the door?
I don't remember.
One of the two of them?
One of the two of them.
All right, did you have a conversation with them?
We had a conversation with both of them.
Okay, did you ask about Zach?
I did ask about Zach.
All right, and what did they say?
I don't remember too much about what they said.
I'm talking about whether they said he was home or not.
Dylan said he was at home and I said he didn't come to the door.
Okay, and then what happened? With respect to Zach,
I left my phone number and told Dylan that I wanted to talk to Zach.
and did Dylan indicate that he would give Zach that message?
Yes, he did.
And do you remember when this happened? How early in the investigation?
I believe it was July,
July of what year?
July 2011.
So despite the fact, no arrests were made for quite some time, you investigative leads had already gone to that house.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you leave the message with Dylan. Did you ever hear back? Did
Yes.
anybody call you?
Zach called the next day and
Did you know him before? Did you know Zach Adams?
I had Zach in the 4th grade. I was his 4th grade school teacher.
Okay. So when you left a message for him to call you, it was call Karen Bobo. You're somebody he knew.
That's correct.
Okay. So you said he called you in?
He called the next day.
And what, if anything, did he say you say?
He said, I hear you're wanting to talk to me. And I said, yes. And he said, well, you can come on over to my house. And I said, well, I'll be bringing my son because that was a work day. Dana was at work. And so Clint and I went over there, but I called Dana's boss to tell him that we were going over there.
Okay. So,
Dana, I believe, was working in Benton County at the time, around holiday.
but David didn't get there in time to go with you and Clint.
No, I didn't even tell Dana we were going.
Just told his boss?
Yes.
So did you and Clint actually go to the Zach Adams house?
Yes, we did.
And you say that was in what month?
July 2011.
Right. And what happened when you got there?
When we got there, I can't remember if he came to the door or the front door was open. And so he invited us in, and we went in just the living room part. And we sat down. I'm not sure he ever sat down. His behavior was, his voice was low one minute, loud the next. I don't remember a whole lot about what he said, but 2 things stand out to me that he said.
Right. And what is the first one?
He asked Clint to describe what the person looked like who walked away with Holly. And when Clint described him, he said that was Shane.
Okay.
And I just found that odd.
Okay. Did you know who Shane was?
I did.
Did you have him in school as well?
No, I did not.
Just knew who he was. All right. What was the second thing that he said?
He told me, this is just out of the blue, that he could call someone with his phone and make it look like it was coming from my phone.
So did he use the word spoofing, or is that a word term you're familiar
He
with?
did use that word, but I didn't have a clue what it meant.
So those are the 2 things that you remember him saying.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have any other encounters with him? I should have asked. Did you go there to ask about your daughter?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And that's the information you came away with, was you described one individual as being Shane.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you know that there are other people charged with raping and kidnapping Holly and
Yes,
killing
ma'am.
her. Did you meet with any of those people in the course of doing your own investigation?
Yes, all of them.
When you say all of them,
All 4 of them. The first one being Shane.
you talked to Shane first
Yes,
on one or more occasions.
more than one.
And do you know Shane's parents even?
I do know Shane's parents, yes. I had Shane's sister in school. I did not have Shane.
So you talked to Shane. What is his last name?
Shane Austin.
Okay. And who else did you talk to?
We talked to Jimmy and Rita Austin. We went to their house because we thought Shane lived with them. And his mom told me that they had to move him out because they would come home and their house would be full of drugs and people on drugs.
All right. So after talking to her, you talked to Shane at some point. Not going to ask what he told you. What about Dylan? Now, you told the jury that when you went to see Zach the first time, you actually had a conversation with Dylan and with his grandfather, Dick. Is that correct?
Yes,
Is that the only time that you talked to Dylan?
yes, it is.
Did you know Dylan before going to the house that day?
I knew what he looked like, but I didn't have Dylan in school.
What about Jason Autry?
I had Jason in the 7th grade at Parsons.
And did you go and talk to him?
Yes, we did.
How many times did you talk to Jason Autry?
At least twice.
And will you tell the jury where those conversations took place?
The first time we were getting ready to walk out the door to go to early church, and we got a phone call from a girl at the Shell station, I believe. And she said she had someone she wanted us to speak with.
Wait. Objection.
To the hearsay, Your Honor.
It's not a hearsay, I was there.
You're describing a conversation someone had with you.
Yes, sir.
Is it being offered for the
It
truth?
was not. It's offered for what she did when she got
All
the
right, your
information.
objection overruled. By definition, that's not hearsay.
You understand?
Y'all caught that? The witness is piping in.
You got some information from a lady over the phone that said she was at a Shell station?
She said she worked at the Shell station, and so we went there.
Okay. And when you got there, was anyone there? Did you encounter somebody?
It was some guy that she wanted us to meet.
Okay.
So we went out searching all day, and then we were hot and tired. This was in August and
August of what year?
2011.
Okay.
And so we go back to one of those gas stations, I'm not sure which one, to get us something to drink, and we're getting ready to check out. And I think Dana said, look, come in there, and it was Jason Autry. So he gets in line behind us to check out, and I turn around and tell him I want to talk to him.
Okay. Now, you can't say what he said, but did you talk to him that day?
Yes, I did.
Did you also go talk to him on another day at his house or his mom's house?
Yes, people kept calling and turning in their names to us, all four of their names. So we went back to Jason's house. I'm not sure when that was. I'm not even sure it was 2011. We went to his mother's house. The first time was August 2011.
So between April of 2011 and August of 2011, have you talked to all four of them?
Yes, ma'am.
When I say you with Clint and or Dana?
Yes, ma'am.
There've been some questions and statements made about pressure put on law enforcement to solve this case. So let me ask you a couple of questions along those lines, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know who, I guess, the case officer or the chief investigator for TBI was in the beginning?
Yes, I do.
Who was that?
Terry Dykus.
And when this case started being investigated and as it continued to weeks and months, did you have contact with Terry Dykus frequently or infrequently?
Frequently. Daily.
Daily?
Daily, just probably sometimes multiple times during the day.
Do you know whether Terry Dykus wanted to close this case? Wanted
He
it to be
did.
done?
He did very much so.
Did he make certain promises to you?
Yes, he did.
And Your Honor, again, I'm not going to offer this for the truth. It'll become obvious. What statements did Terry Dykus make to you about your daughter?
He told me that he would have my daughter home before her 21st birthday, which was in October. And then when that date rolled around, he told me he would have her home before Thanksgiving. And when that date rolled around, he told me he would have her home before Christmas. And when that date rolled around and she wasn't home, he said he would have her home before Valentine's.
What are we doing?
Holly didn't come home, did she?
No, she did not.
And do you remember a time, nearly exactly 3 years ago, September the 7th, 2014, did you receive certain information?
Yes, I did.
And who was the information from?
From TBI Jack Van Hoosier.
And was Jack Van Hoosier Terry Dykus' boss?
Yes.
And where were you when you got the information?
When I got the phone call that they had found human remains in northern Decatur County, I was checking out at American Eagle in the mall.
Go home,
Went straight home.
and then later on that evening, or the next day, did a group of TBI agents come to your house?
They did.
Is that when you learned that the remains that were found were Holly?
Yes, ma'am. I believe it was, that happened on a Sunday when they called and told us they had found human remains. And they said it might be several days, but I believe they came back Monday night and told us it was Holly.
Your Honor, I don't have any further questions.
Cross-examination.
Thanks, Your Honor. First, I've asked for any jinx material for this.
Okay. Anything?
We've turned over, as Your Honor knows, every statement and whatnot that we've ever.
I asked you, hopefully, to do that where we wouldn't have to take
Well,
after each witness breaks.
yeah, we did it during the course of discovery. I haven't heard of it today because she has.
Weren't there some text messages that were going back and forth with the family? I thought there were some text messages. Are those for those also?
I have no idea what she's talking about. Maybe approach text messages between who and who.
Seeing the confusion?
Some type of instruction to the jury about evidence that's been destroyed.
And for all we know, it could be text messages about I'm coming to your house.
I just think they meet me at 3 o'clock at Shell Station.
But we don't know because I can't.
They've given you everything they've got. Let's go. Bring the jury in.
Your Honor, I'd also asked for a curative instruction. They've allowed in things that people said. It wasn't for the truth of the matter. And like a curative instruction, just to tell the jury that whatever was repeated as what people said is only to put into perspective what happened next. And they're not to consider what they said as being truthful, such as the fact that the Austin family said if people were over there, there'd be full of drug people and drug
That's a legal issue. I don't think I've tried to explain hearsay to attorneys. If 7 out of 10 attorneys don't know the definition of hearsay.
I believe that there's an instruction available that says that that's a limited use on what those statements come in as, Your Honor.
And a curative instruction with respect to what the lady at the Shell station told her, that's fine. It's nothing. Curative instruction with respect to Dylan saying, I'll give him the message, that's fine. A curative instruction as to what Zach told her, of course, would be inappropriate. That was all.
I can't,
I'm not talking about Zach.
I can't give a curative instruction on every time I rule on some type of objection.
Right, we can
You
have.
probably shouldn't have objected because as an attorney, you should know the definition of hearsay.
I do know the definition of hearsay, and until it comes out, I don't know if it's for the content of the matter. Simply because the state says I'm not doing it for the truth of the matter doesn't mean that's not why it's coming in.
I'll tell the jury, I'll take care of it. Bring the jury out.
Can y'all believe this? Can you believe this?
Go right.
Oh my gosh. Talk about all kinds of credibility for the post-conviction relief hearing and the testimony that we heard. We're seeing it on full display right here. Yeah, Kelly, in front of everybody.
All right, let me say earlier there was some objections based upon hearsay. I'm not going to send you to law school, but I'm going to tell you generally that hearsay is an out-of-court statement made by somebody that is offered for the truth of what is being said. So everything someone else says is not necessarily hearsay by definition. If that is simply being shown to offer why someone did what they did in response to it, it's not hearsay, okay? Everybody kind of generally understand. And that's after first year of law school that you learn that. Some attorneys never learn it. So you folks are up on it, okay? All right.
Did you catch that dig? Some attorneys never learn it. Oh boy, y'all. I think this is probably a good place for us to stop tonight. He does look like the judge from My Cousin Vinny, not gonna lie. She's gonna get ready to cross-examine Holly Bobo's mother. But oh boy, we're on day 1 still, guys. Can you all believe what we have witnessed? Because I can't. And we still have the rest of day 1 and 8 more days after that to see this piece of work preside over his courtroom. Wow. I can't believe the way that he is talking to the defense attorney. And let me tell you, I have a lot of disdain for Judge Cannoni, but he even makes her look like a dream judge. He's despicable, truly. And little Miss Jennifer Nichols, she just prances all around there like she owns the place. Unbelievable. Okay, Melissa is asking, are you still streaming more of this weekend? Why, yes, my dear. We will be back here again tomorrow morning to pick up exactly where we left off at 8 o'clock a.m. Central Time. So adjust accordingly depending on what time zone you live in. Melissa, I think you're a little ways west, so sorry for the early start. And my intention, I do have real life things happening tomorrow evening, so we may have to cut off instead of at 5 o'clock at 4 o'clock because I have some company coming over. And of course, you all know that. What is my camera doing? You all know that I don't do any of the cooking, that Mr. Demeanor does all the cooking. So all I have to do is show up. Isn't that fantastic? So yes, then my intention is, yes, I'm planning on doing another full day on Sunday as well for us to kind of get caught up. If my ciphering is correct, I believe by the time we get to Monday, we should be to approximately day 5. So we'll clip right along and get through as much of this as we can. And yes, Melissa, sorry, that is 6 a.m. for you. Sorry. I wanted to make sure I could get a full day in. So, in the meantime, I also today did not get an opportunity. I may try to catch up on this. The Aiden Carney hearing. I got maybe 10 or 15 minutes into it. I had a lot of stuff that happened at work today, so I didn't have the availability that I sometimes have on other days. Courtney Clenny had a hearing today as well. They have rescheduled, I shouldn't say rescheduled, they've scheduled another hearing for December 18th. On December 18th, the hearing is for bond for her, and also they are trying to dismiss the case. So that should be an interesting hearing for us to follow up on later this month. Mark Sanchez, that dropped off. I think that because it was rescheduled for March, they ended up rescheduling the hearing as well. Who else did we have this week? We had Miles King this week. And as far as I know, I haven't been able to get an update on that as well, because I've been all things Brian Walsh this week. And you may not have noticed, but Justice Served TV had me on twice this week. So I needed to make sure that I stayed knowing what was going on in the Brian Walsh trial. And that is still continuing. I am completely caught up on that particular testimony in the trial, but I am not caught up on Aiden Carney. So I will try to catch that before I go to bed this evening. So tomorrow morning, I can let you all know what the update is. So as far as Aiden Carney goes, that is the witness intimidation one. This is a new judge. So it is Mr. Bradle and Mr. Betterow that are both arguing in front of a brand new judge. And Trust is Love is asking, when is day 2? Well, we'll be doing day 2 tomorrow. Yeah, it'll definitely happen tomorrow. We may get through all of day 2 tomorrow. I think that's what you're asking. And yes, Melissa, Walsh is turning out to be way more interesting. I don't know what's going to happen with this verdict, because I'm starting to believe that it was a heat of passion killing. I think he may have suspected that she was catting around on him, but didn't know who it was specifically. And so I am curious to see how the remaining evidence comes in and the testimony, because as it stands right now, I have serious doubts whether they're going to be able to get a guilty verdict on this. And yes, this X, a new trial for Zach or recap. I don't know what you're asking. This is the trial from 2017 that we're watching. And I'm doing a recap on Brian Walsh's trial that's been going on this week. And what we're watching, this is not a new trial for Zach. This is the original one that convicted him. We're doing kind of a comparison because we had done so much post-conviction relief hearings and hearing the testimony. I thought it was important for us to go back and see what actually happened in the trial. So that's what this is. Yes, the defense is punching holes. I just don't know. I don't know if they put Proctor up on the stand and things go completely sideways and south, I think there's a very strong possibility that Brian Walsh walks and he will only be convicted on the things that he has already pled guilty to. That's where I have major concerns. That's why I've followed the case, is because I have concerns about him actually being convicted because of all of the mess of Massachusetts that exists. So I want to thank you all again for joining me on this Friday night. Like I say, we'll be back at it tomorrow. I know it's all day long. Not everybody's going to be able to hang the whole day. Hop in, hop out, listen, do what you need to do. Put your Christmas decorations up and pop me on the boob tube while you're doing that so you can listen in, because I would say a majority of the evidence in this particular case is going to be only you need to hear it. There's not going to be a lot of visual things, a lot of physical evidence. So this is a good one that you can be listening to in your car or listening to while you're doing laundry, for instance. So, okay, with that, I'm going to choke some food down, try to find out what happened in the Aiden Carney hearing today, and I will plan on seeing all of you bright and early tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. And remember, it doesn't cost a penny to be kind, so find someone to do something nice for today if you haven't already. And as always,